don't panic. Whatever you do, don't panic. Oh, I'm panicking! No, I'm not. I'm not panicking at all. Here I am. Hello. It's all very good. God, it was, for a warm day, it was getting cold out there. I guess I don't need this anymore. Hang on. All right. Awesome craziness is my middle name. Yeehaw! Did some painting. I've actually done some painting. Finally got to do some painting of 3D models. Started working on that anyways. I was working on those too. That's why there's the smell of burning, is because I've got the glue gun going, which I should turn off. Okay, I should turn that off. Okay. Got that plugged in. Was looking for an HDMI cable to plug into that, which I have now. It's all coming together. I love it when a plan comes together. Pack Bomb, thank you very much. Okay, I think, is that everything? How is everybody? Woohoo! Got a first-time chat from Greg to you. Hello to you, Greg to you. I am a freaking cable nightmare is what I am. A freaking cable nightmare. I have to, I'm gonna unplug this. This is a zoo. This is a labyrinth of squirming cable type things. God damn it. One day I'm going to be so organized. So I set up a little outside space, a little cardboard box for spring. Oh, thank you very much, Joseph. That's very kind of you. I set up a little outside spraying place where I use this. God, this paint is so good. Let me grab it for you. I found this stuff. It's this Rust-Oleum stuff. Hello. This is, if I want to get sponsored by Rust-Oleum, these guys, this paint, like, admittedly, it's been a little while since I've done spray painting, quite a while. And this stuff is just, it's just a primer. But man, I mean, look at the way this has come up. This is a little one of Wexter's creations, but this is the God of War. Wow, incoming hype train already. Look at that. But it really, that brings out the detail. If I get my hand behind that, does that help? You know what I mean? Look at that. Isn't that great? And just the way the paint brings out the textures and the colors of this thing is just amazing. Anyways, I thought it was a pretty good print. It was all white. But this is just, I am really excited about that. And then I got, for Valentine's Day, that's what the hearts part of this is. Good Lord, what is going on? There's like, what do you do? Everyone's just gone nuts and started throwing subscriptions. Thank you so much, Travario. The Orion, or what is it? The Rion Pyros. Thank you very much. Partner has it too. Thankfully, he's what's that? Oh no, we got the COVID. Is the vid around? XF Kirsten, thank you very much. My God, this is nuts. This is nuts. Did I miss anyone at the beginning? I bet you I did. I missed a first-time chat. Bonnie needs coffee, I'll say. Don't we all need coffee? I need coffee. I might take a break and go get coffee at some point. Who else have I got in here? Trevaro. Another first-time chat by Meat Puppet. What are you, an actor? So we used to call us the Meat Puppets. Ruby K. Thank you so much. 44 months. Holy crap. Nano. Oh, Nano, thank you very much. Nano17526E09. I'm sure there's something in there. There's a code in there I'm sure I should know. What else have I got in here? Another first-time chat from Jarhara, who says, first time catching up live. So cool. That is kind of neat, isn't it? It is, as you can tell, I spent a long time making myself look good for you. No, I was outside in the blustery wind trying to do this... this 3D print finishing stuff. This is my test one. I have another one, which I think you'll like a little bit more. Not that this isn't fantastic, but there is another one that I think you will really get a kick out of. That Wexter has the evil Wexter and a couple of his friends have come up with. So I thought I must have a go at painting. So I got these acrylic paints. I got this, as I say, this Rust-Oleum stuff. Holy cow. I mean, it sort of makes me want to, I kind of feel like I want to I was thinking about getting an airbrush. So I thought an airbrush would be kind of fun. They've got these little sort of plug-in airbrushes. Just because nothing gets a nice layer of paint over things like a spray does. Other than all the toxic fumes, it's quite nice. All right. For some reason, I've stopped the chat. What have I done? It's my height in nanometers. Ah, very good. I knew it had to be something. Airbrushes are great, but they're a lot of work to clean and stuff. Yeah. Wolf Pup, how you doing? David hasn't even noticed the one and only wonderful Vibe Pup is here. You think I haven't noticed? It's because your name's Wolf Pup all of a sudden again. Hello, Vibe Pup. How are you? Nice promo, by the way. Nice promo of your own, of yourself there. All right, what do we got? The pictures are awful. I hope the water supply is okay. What is going on? What am I missing? What am I missing? Oh, yeah, I did hear about the train wreck in Ohio. Yeah, it's insane, wasn't it? It was insane. So here's completely off topic, of course, because that's how I roll. I had this epiphany the other day. Not epiphany's the wrong word, but I was on Twitter again, and I just found I went in to do one thing, and then 45 minutes later I was still on there, and my feed has turned into this mess. It's just all this. I'm blocking stuff left, right, and center because it's just all horrible stuff. People beating each other up or train crashes or all this kind of stuff. And again, I want to know the news. I'm all for that. But it's like, I don't feel like I feel like instead of just getting the news, I'm getting PTSD. Like I'm just getting so much about everything that happens that I feel like I'm, at the best of times, I find it hard to concentrate. At the worst of times, it's a disaster. So at a time when I feel like I need undivided attention, I find that social media has really divided my attention. So I will probably end up taking a little break for a while. I like the videos. I'm really enjoying the newsletter. I got to say, writing the newsletter has just been so much fun. It gives me a sense of there's a certain a veneer of schedule to my life. This week being a little different because, of course, we had Valentine's Day and then Jane took off to Berlin last night. So I didn't feel like I didn't have the bandwidth to deal with all of that and TechBandits on those days. So I thought I would move it to Thursday. But and it is funny though. But my push to I want to get better at organizing my social media. So I've got I'm trying out a couple of different platforms to see if there's a way that I can just start posting to everything at the same time. And not just be responsive to, my own. Hello, a whole bunch going on again in the chat here. I love the idea of having an idea, hopping onto to Twitter or whatever, and then posting. But then I find myself posting and reading and going to Facebook to post it on Facebook. Then they go to Instagram. And anyway, so I want to streamline this process. And I also want to, as I say, spend a little less time on there because I just feel like, I don't know, there's something about it right now. I don't know whether it's where my head's at or whether it's just where the world's at or maybe it's just where Twitter's at. I don't know, because Twitter was just my go-to place. And ever since this, ever since it got all musky, I'm just finding it a bit more shock value stuff than that kind of fun connection that I was getting before. So those mass poster tools to multi-social medias are great. Yeah, I think Captain, that's what I'm going to look at. Again, I want it to be, I don't want to automate stuff too much because I really think it needs to be organic, man. It's got to be organic. It's got to, I feel like it's got to happen when it happens type thing. But at the same time, I feel like I've just got to get better at it. I'm so unfocused today. I apologize. All right, David, did you consider Constant Contact, your email for the bandits, and it can be linked to all of your social media accounts to post simultaneously? We use it for our dental assistant. Oh, really, Pac Bomb? I haven't used Constant Contact. I've got Mailer Lite going right now. Who just subscribed? What is going on? Anonymous gifter. What the heck? Well, thank you very much. Wow, there's a whole bunch going. Sci-Fi Gal 13, thank you very much. Really enjoying the newsletter. Oh, good. Oh, good. I'm so glad. I am loving making it, I got to say. Wow. Started enjoying not being on the socials at all. Yeah. Now DNW saying my what is going on here? I can't see. I can't. There's something there. My something went down for 6 weeks. Really put stuff in perspective. First 2 weeks sucked, but then I really started to enjoy not being on all the socials and stuff. I'm changing my entire way I do things now, so I'm not on as much. Yeah, I think it is. I think I've got to look at that too. Again, Sci-Fi Gal, thank you very much. It's very sweet of you. And the anonymous gifter is back at it again. Whoever you are, thank you very much. That's fantastic. Musty. It is Twitter. Yeah, I mean, look, I whatever. The guy's got his own. Gimpy G, what are you doing subscribing for? Not enough that you're here every week. I should hop into the Discord and say hi to everyone. I can't do Twitter anymore. Is it really that bad? I mean, yeah. And Cal! Even Cal is impressed with Anonymous Gifter. I mean, that's, it really is extraordinary. Hello, Cal. How are you? Got to chat with Cal. I haven't chatted with Cal for ages. Love your AI-inspired images. Oh, my God, don't even start me on that. I am so enjoying Midjourney. Midjourney is just, it has changed the way I work. I just did a pitch. Sorry, I'll go to the Discord in a sec. But I just did a pitch for a, what do they call it? A factual TV show. I got this really fun idea for a couple of shows. One focused on science fiction, one focused on horror, two of the two genres that I really enjoy. And I had to put a pitch together. They wanted to sort of gussy up the pitch to make it look good to send into these people. And I sat there and had so much fun on Midjourney, just coming up with all these horrific images that were generic enough that there's no copyright issues. But original enough to apply to what I wanted to throw in there. So just so much fun. At one point, when if I get any response, Snorlax, what the heck? Thank you so much. Snorlax is not a laxative. No kidding. They're a gifting machine. This is crazy. Thank you. Yeah, look at that. Cal is also very impressed. Snorlax. Thank you very much. And first I chat from the MG Live. Hello to you there. Hello, the MG Live. The MG, it was a car my dad used to love. Ugh, I'm sorry. I'm being a boomer. What am I being a boomer about? What does that mean? What am I booming about, Cal? What? Ay. Sorry for the noise. What noise? Yeah, great. Cal's just making fun of me. Okay. Hello, Senior Hewlett. Good afternoon. Was that Senior Hewlett? Oh, man, I just sound so much older. So old. I'm definitely grayer because I sprayed that freaking primer stuff everywhere. Don't be me to Cal on her birthday. It's a good point, SF Kirsten. It's so true. Oh, Kirsten, you're going to get yourself so hammered. You're going to get the Cal hammer so quick. All right, let me get into Discord, see what's going on. Let me go past here. Yeah, I'm so distracted today. I apologize. I am all over the place today. Am I going to join the voice? Let's do this. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how are you, Vipup?
Good. A lot of drama going on, though.
A lot of drama?
Yeah.
What kind of drama?
School drama.
Oh, no. What's happened? I always love the school drama. Baz always comes home with great school drama. What do you got?
A lot of people might be getting in trouble. Luckily, I'm not one of them, so.
Really? What did they do? Someone set the bathroom on fire at Baz's place, or they set off fireworks in the bathroom or something. So there was a.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't really want to talk why they're getting in trouble. I just want to tell some fun school stories that I've had. I went into the bathroom and there has become a random ritual of people just putting like sandwiches in the corner.
What? Ew.
They will put sandwiches and hide them in the corner. And in the guy's locker room, they will put cheese in the roof.
The cheese in the roof of the lockers or the roof of the locker room?
in the roof of the locker room, you will go in there and find cheese in the roof.
I feel that cheese and locker rooms should never be used in the same sentence, and sandwiches and bathrooms, I have to say the same thing. I don't. Yeah, that's ew. And it's just like a meme kind of thing. They're just like doing memes or something.
It's just people just messing around and thinking that they're funny doing it.
Does everybody vape in the bathroom? Bass says everyone vapes in the bathroom.
No, I've only caught one person vaping
Really?
in the washroom. Yeah.
Bass says there are 3 bathrooms at his school. They have
Oh.
a male, a female, and a non-denominational bathroom. And he says like I don't know what the term is, the non-gender bathroom. He says is just full of people vaping.
That's the all gender bathroom, just so you know.
Is that what they mean? The non-binary. Someone says non-binary.
Non-binary.
Ruby K says non-binary.
At our school, we have, it's weird. We have 1 girls' room, 2 boys' room, and then a all gender washroom.
Right.
Very weird.
I mean, I've got to say, if you not the whole non-binary bathroom thing, I think I've got no problems with that at all. I just personally, because I guess I'm old and I'm used to it this way, I'm a bit self-conscious sharing a bathroom with women. I'm used to having just a men's bathroom and a women's bathroom, and I just feel like maybe it's just I guess because I'm just old and I'm not used to it. I guess if I'd always grown up in a world where we shared bathrooms, it would be a different story. But I definitely, I used to, there were a couple of clubs downtown back in the day that had shared bathrooms, and I was always a bit self-conscious because I never wanted to be creepy, and I also, didn't. I just found it weird. So I think it's amazing if you've got the resources to have 3 freaking bathrooms where you could just choose whatever. I mean, that's fantastic. So
the non-binary bathroom is basically just the one where everybody goes if they're skipping.
Well, in a way, it becomes. It sort of makes sense why it would be like the social hangout, right? I mean, I suppose it makes sense. I mean, yeah, I guess it's interesting. I mean, I know my mother was at a swim, like one of these public swimming pools, and she said that a guy came into the, what she said he looked like a guy in her mind, and he came in, and when they said, excuse, this is the women's bathroom, he said, well, I identify as a woman, and so they're like, oh, okay, but she said it was just kind of creepy because she didn't believe him. She said he was just being creepy. But at the same time, it's that weird, like we're still trying to figure this stuff out, aren't we? Like we're still trying to figure out how does this stuff work? Then he wasn't a man, he was a woman, she was a woman, says Ruby K. Yeah, my mother's concern was that she felt that they were using it as an excuse to be there because they weren't actually using the bathroom. They were just standing in it. So literally this person came in and stood there while everyone else changed. And then when they were called on it, you're right, Ruby K. I've got to try to get that right. But when they were called on it, that was when they said, oh, no, this is just where I feel more comfortable here type thing. So I don't know how, I don't know what you do to deal with that kind of a situation, which is I'm sure an outlier on this stuff. I think by the sound of it, this is a person who has some mental health issues and stuff as well. But, but in a high school situation, I think it's different where there really is, I think there's going to be a need for people to have places to go where we're going to feel comfortable and that they feel like that is their space. So, Yorkdale Mall in Toronto has shared washrooms. They're all stalls with walls and doors, floor to ceiling, and the sinks area are open and shared. That makes the most sense to me, Greg TU. That makes the absolute most sense to me. They're all stalls anyways, so just have stalls. Although, frankly, I would not want to be a woman having to use some of the stalls after some of the men have used it. Is all I'm going to say. You know what I mean? Guys, I don't know what it is about guys and bathrooms, but they did. Apparently, they did an experiment. Apparently, they found that if they put a little image in the urinal, there was less peeing on the walls. Isn't that wild?
What?
Apparently, if they put a little image in, or they put one of those little mats in the urinal, the guys would pee at that, not pee all over the place, which is apparently what was. So apparently, it reduces the cleanup if they have something for these idiots to focus on when they're peeing.
I'm sorry, I just have to say this. You saying that just reminded me of the Team Fortress 2 sniping's a good job, mate thing.
Sniping's a good, yeah. Well, there you go. So that's it. I guess it's like maybe it's got something to do with that.
Shooting range.
Okay, so David, can I ask, if a person who physically looked like a woman but identified as a man was in your male restroom, how would you feel? Sorry, a person who physically looked like a woman but identified as a man was in your male room, how would you feel? A person who physically looked like a woman but identified as a man was in your restroom, how would you feel? I do think I would be uncomfortable. Like, I'm just not used to that, if that makes sense. I think it also depends on the layout of the bathroom. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with any of this. I'm just being completely honest as to, I have my perspective, my upbringing was very specific about that. Like, the most embarrassing thing you could do as a male would be to by accident walk into the women's bathroom. Oh my God, that's like the worst. It was like a recurring nightmare for me. You know what I mean? Like, that I might accidentally want, so there's just these very, very specific and I mean, in hindsight, sort of more ridiculous, very specific line between male and female back when I grew up. Not, there wasn't, but that was how society portrayed it. As we now know, what is it they say? That what was the term? They said something like gender was fluid, but sex is specific. I can't something like that. I can't remember what the exact terms are. But again, this is the great thing about diversity, right? Is that the more people you meet who have different perspectives and different sort of places and different perspectives on life, the better understanding of the whole planet we're going to have, right? So that's, I mean, again, when I grew up I was in an all boys school. The worst thing you could say to someone is call them gay. I mean, it was an insult. I mean, and we didn't get it. We didn't understand why it was so offensive and horrendous at the time. But had we had someone who could sort of scratch a little deeper and say, hey, what are you saying? Like, what? By saying that, listen to what you're saying to each other.
I just haven't heard that in a while.
What? That
I haven't heard someone use "gay" as an insult because.
Yeah, I think it's changing. I think it's changed. I know it's changing a lot, as it should. The weird thing was, it was the worst thing you could call someone, and then it became like a joke that you would call someone that, because it's just a stupid thing to call someone. And there was an amazing Louis C.K. who comes with his own other realm of difficulties with him. But he had an episode of his show where he had a gay comedian talk about the use of the F word in regards to homosexuality, and it was so. I'm assuming it's on YouTube or something. It would be worth looking up. It is an amazing speech that this guy gives. Because he says, to you, it's a funny word. To you, it's a shock value. I've seen your routine. It's funny in your routine. He says, but you have to remember, for me, that was the word I heard when people were kicking the crap out of me when I was in high school. Or that's the word that they used when they beat my boyfriend unconscious outside the bar. I mean, like, that this word has weight to it that we don't feel because we've never had to put up with that kind of stuff. The weird thing, of course, is I was a Duran Duran fan. I loved the New Romantics. I wore makeup. I dressed up in all of the frilly New Romantic clothes and stuff. I was called gay all the time.
But in here, I just came out as bisexual like 2 days ago, and I've already been called that word several times in the past 2 days.
Really?
Yeah.
What? Because so when you say you came out, did you tell people at school? Did you how did you approach that? It seems very brave of you.
I did like a test run with a bunch of my friends, and
Hmm.
then for Valentine's Day, um, basically how it's working is I am somehow dating someone. I have no clue how,
All right.
and they are transgender, and they wrote their like guy name,
Right.
and my sister saw it on the card and asked, "Who is this?" And I just kind of said, "Well."
Hmm.
And I just explained everything, and I've already been called that several times at school.
Really? But in a bad way or in a joking way or what? Like, I mean, I guess there's only a bad way, really, isn't there?
In a bad way. I just kind of shrug it off and keep going, though.
Oh, good for you. That's, I mean, yeah, because I mean, that's got to be kind of hard to do, though, isn't it? I mean, isn't that kind of? I would think that would take a lot of. You got to be pretty freaking brave for that, wouldn't you?
I don't know. I just don't see it as an insult.
No, God, no. That's fantastic. That's good. Well, and as you shouldn't, because it's just not. Let's face it. I mean, there's no way around that. No, it was an insult to us when we were kids because we didn't understand, and also because there was this. There was a stigma attached to it that people, especially men, were just very. It was all very. It was very odd. It was always these very male men who were terrified that they might be thought of to be gay, and you're like, well, if you're so male, what are you worried about? You know what I mean? Like, so Christy K, yes, you've caught us streaming. Well done, Vibe Pup. So Vibe Pup, obviously I'll call you Vibe Pup, but
Yeah.
so how would I refer to you now?
Just the same. He, him. It's
He, him.
just yeah. The only thing being bisexual is it's just um, I like guys and girls. Is it?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But you got but you got a Valentine's.
Yeah.
Nice. I was trying to the Valentine's Day thing. I never know what to do for Valentine's. So what did you get? What did you get them?
I got them a necklace, and they got me a bunch of like stuffed animals.
Oh, really? Baz got some clothes. I'm not sure if I'm even allowed to say this, but you got some clothes, and I got. Oh, you know what I got Jane? This is brilliant. So Jane had to go away, so I couldn't buy Jane flowers because otherwise they would be dead when she got home because I would be looking after them. So what did I do? I got her a Lego orchid. Huh? Can't kill that, can I?
I don't think you can kill Lego.
No, I mean you can break it, you could drop it probably, but I'd have to build it too. But yeah, I thought I'd get her a Lego. I'd get her a Lego orchid. I thought that would be it just looks really cool because it looks like an orchid, but it's actually Lego. Yeah, Lego flowers. Jack Jastra. Hello, Jack Jastra. Thinks it's a good idea. Apparently that's winning. Vinny needs coffee. Says, Vonnie needs coffee. I think I need coffee. Does it count as killing it if you smash it? Yeah, exactly. If I drop it, that might be it. Oh, you got your wife the Lego orchid. See, it's the way to go. They're expensive though. They're not. Yeah, that ain't cheap. I was surprised at how expensive Lego can get. Well, Vipup, that's really exciting. I mean, I'm sorry that you're getting, you're getting grief from people who just don't understand it. Is there, have you got like a community of friends and stuff you can talk to there? Do you got people you can?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You got I mean, I think that's a big part of it too. Is it's just like as long as you've got friends and you got people you can talk to, and you got family and all that kind of jazz. That's good. That's very good. But still, I gotta say, I'm really impressed. There's no way I'd be able to have done that at your age. No way. I would just. I mean, again, it's a different era, I'm sure. But just even I still have a hard time talking about that stuff, and I'm like, what, 1,000 years old? You know what I mean? It's still a topic that I struggle with because I've just got, this is all this old Christian stuff and old macho male stupidity stuff. Anyways, well done. All right. Simply Sota. Wolf Pup is awesome. Apparently, there you go, Captain Catherine. Apparently, you're awesome. There you go. What's happening with streaming and stuff too? What's I'm not applying guilt. I'm just saying. I'm just asking. Is there Any word on
There's
that?
a bunch of drama going on that I don't really want to talk about, and that's just kind of taking up my mind.
Like home drama?
School drama. Not
Oh,
even.
your
Not
school
even
drama
with
is
this.
getting home?
No, not even this. Not home drama. It's just a bunch of drama going on at school, and it's just taking over my brain.
Do you think people like drama?
Uh, I'm involved with the drama, so not at all.
Oh. But do you think it's funny the drama stuff? What grade are you in now?
8.
8. I definitely found there was a burst of drama. Grade 8, grade 7 and 8. I found there was a lot of drama. By grade 9, I feel like people sort of had. They kind of went like, okay, I'm done with the drama. I'm just gonna, they'd moved off into their little cliques and stuff. I felt that grade 7 and 8, people were sort of beginning to sort of like, it's almost like the cell was dividing, and part of one was going over here to one clique, and the other was going to like. I felt the cliques had started to form. At that point, I feel like I hear less drama with Baz now than I used to hear, but maybe that's just because he doesn't tell me because he knows I'm a parent. Some of us avoid drama at all costs. It's weird. I feel like if you just watch social media and YouTube and stuff and Twitch and all these things, the drama, it almost feels like there's supposed to be drama, but there really isn't. There doesn't have to be drama. In fact, there's just better ways of dealing with things than getting all. But the problem with social media and all this kind of stuff is that it doesn't want things to be everyone to get along happily because they don't spend as much time online if they're not yelling at each other, right? Like if you say something outlandishly terrible, you will get a hell of a lot more responses than if you say something really nice, you know? I avoided drama in school to the point of not having many friends and still avoid drama as an adult and choose friends who aren't into that. Yeah, I would agree. I'm the same. I think I'm probably the most drama now. It's the actor thing. I just, I'm very good at drama, I think. I am resigning from a volunteer position because of the drama. I just do not need to spend my time volunteering with a bunch who stoke the drama fires. I guess, wow. I've been watching this show, which I absolutely love. Jeremy Clarkson's farm show. I don't know what it's called. I don't know. He's this rather, well, talking about drama, a lot of drama around this guy. He says a lot of silly things, outlandish, outrageous things, and gets into trouble all the time. His latest one, I think he said something horrible about Meghan Markle or something. And anyways, but this show I think it's on Amazon, about his farm is so much fun because I just keep thinking like, this is going to be me. When I move back to Jane's dad's farm in 5 years' time or whatever it's going to be, I will be this guy trying to figure out how to use a tractor, how to feed pigs and raise cows and things. It's like, I can't wait. It's like homework for me, Sadly, some people get pulled into it without planning to, like me. The more friends I have, the more drama that appears. It's true. My health is drama enough already without dealing with everyone else's. I know. Yeah, it's, well, sorry, I don't know about your health, but I'm sorry that you're having trouble with health. But, oh, wow, you guys actually doing that? That is awesome. What are we actually doing? I'm jealous. I love farms. Sorry, Captain. Yeah, the hope is, look, I keep saying to Jane, when do I get to retire? I'm ready to retire now. Of course, I can't retire quite away because I got to go. I guess Sunday I'm going to Kitchener, and then we got to talk about the hacksmith, dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
So I'm gonna go and be on stage with the hacksmith on Sunday, and then James very kindly said I could come and see Herc, the labs that they've got. So I think what I'll do is I'm hoping to go there after the talk that I'm doing, and then and check it out, and then I'm really hoping that we'll get along incredibly well, and I'll come back later as well, because it just sounds like what he's got going up there is amazing, like just amazing. But new Stargate, yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? New Stargate would be nice. I have a new Stargate, but it's a 3D printed one. But that's a whole other story. Okay, there's such a thing as being rejected because one doesn't wish to be involved in whatever drama is going on. I think it depends. Oh, the Untidy Tech. These glasses, I love these glasses. They are allegedly indestructible and unscratchable. I have broken them twice and scratched them once. So they're not They're not that, but they are incredibly light. I'm not even going to tell you how much money I spent on them. Jane made me buy them, and I just think they're the most ridiculously expensive. I talk about a frickin' ripoff. If someone could show me a great video on how to use Fusion 360 or even better, Tinkercad to make frames for my glasses, that is what I would do. I would order my frames from my optician or ophthalmologist, whoever it is, and then I would just stick them in frames that I 3D printed, because I get through glasses like they were made out of, like, I don't know, Twizzlers. They're just like I ruin them all the time. Late onset type 1 diabetes, chronic pain from peripheral neuropathy, gastroparesis. Oh my God, the list is longer than my arm. Oh my God, that is a list. I can look forward to diabetes. Yay, me. Well, I'm sorry. There's videos and YouTubes for making frames. Oh, there are? I couldn't find anything that didn't seem ridiculously complicated. I didn't feel like it should be that complicated. I want it to be as simple as this. Don't you just love that little God of War guy? I just think he's so cool. Dun, dun, dun. He's even got the scar. Yeah, look at that. Anyways, all right. I get my progressive glasses at Costco, $160 compared to $700 at my Opto. Really? So maybe I should go to Costco. Don't take diabetes. Don't get diabetes. Drink a kale smoothie or something. Yeah. Ugh. Okay. Why can you look forward to type 2 diabetes? It's just a family thing, apparently. Apparently it's a genetic thing. So I'm supposed to be looking after what I eat better. I'm not so good at that. He looks like an eraser head. Are you talking about me or the thing? Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah. He looks like an eraser head. I look like a bit like an eraser head too. I love this Wexter released all of his files. He released all his files onto printables. So on the Prusa thing, there's a whole bunch of great stuff on printables. There was always good stuff. Now there's great stuff as well. Thank you very much for Sister Aurora for following. I got some blue light glasses to see if I feel a difference. So far seems to be some improvement. These go dark and light outside. That's all they do, but they're very useful that way, because I always forget to wear sunglasses, and eyes. I just do eyes. You got to look after your eyes. All right, bye, pup. I got a bunch of things to talk about. Bunch of things.
Okay.
Like techie things that I thought were kind of cool. Unless you got anything else you want to share, any other stuff you got to.
I've started playing Pokemon games. That might be cool.
Oh, really? What are you playing?
Soul Silver.
Soul Silver? I don't know that one. All right, I'm looking it up right now. Soul Silver.
It's really fun.
What do you play it on?
On the DS.
Oh, on the DS? That's going way back. Way back.
I wanted to play some of the old games. That's why.
It's funny, isn't it? That's kind of the retro thing. That's why I think it's important to buy the actual games themselves rather than download them. I'll tell you why. Because people want that retro hit every so often. Like in 10 years' time, you may sort of go like, I'm a rich YouTubing inventor, and I got some time to kill. I think I want to get one of those old DSs. And you'll go and you'll look on eBay and you'll find one and you'll spend too much money on it and you'll buy it, and then you'll get some cartridges for it. You have to buy those. Whereas if collecting those and selling those, I think it's just a great way to get back some of the money that you put into the gaming purchases that you buy. So very wise. Where did you get the cartridge for it, or did you download it?
We already had it.
Oh,
I didn't even know that.
Oh, really? So
yeah.
What, like your sister or your dad or someone was playing it already?
My mom, actually.
Or your mom? Why did I not think your mom would play? Mums just seem too responsible for that stuff. But of course, mums are gaming as well. See how old I am?
She used to be a gamer, but then she stopped.
Oh, really? So see, because she's responsible, unlike us guys who keep going. What kind of? So she was like a gamer, like she played a lot of games.
No, just DS games.
DS is a fun little system. I used to love the DS. We've still got a DS kicking around somewhere.
But because I didn't have my own DS, I went to a pawn shop near me and bought the DSi.
What's the DSi?
It's basically just a faster and stronger DS.
Really? Nintendo, but that it plays all the other DS games.
Yeah,
Nintendo.
except
What do you call it? A
3DS.
DI?
A DSi.
DSi. DSi. Oh yeah, that is a fancier looking. Oh, I see. Okay, all right.
There's a camera on it.
It's only $60.
I got it for 60 and it had a charger.
Oh, but oh my god,
It's used.
I remember buying Baz's for him, and it was a lot more than $60. Let me tell you. We have we have like a Mario one or something, or a I can't remember. It was like a special edition one because it's the only one that was available. I told you, maybe I'm not sleeping right. It's because when Jane's away, I don't sleep properly. I'm used to having Jane sitting there doing her crossword puzzles at night. That's how I know when to go to bed. Okay, so I went out with my friend today, and I was struggling to get my jacket done up because I had the dog in one hand and a bag of bags in the other, and he's like, "Oh my God, your wife leaves, and you can't even do your jacket up." All right, so I had some notes. Here are my notes. Where are my notes? Vipup, what did you do with my notes?
I didn't do anything with the notes. I think you just misplaced them.
I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. So the first one, which I just thought was kind of neat because I just can't believe we're even talking about it. This idea of firing moon dust at the sun. You heard about this?
No. And I don't think it's a good idea.
So, yeah, I'm kind of with you. So scientists are saying, like, how can we've got a problem with global warming, right?
It's the Earth, not the sun.
Well, yes, but so this idea was they were saying what is a good cheap material that we could put out that could deflect or, well, I guess diffuse the light from the sun and make it not as intense on the planet. So they said, hey, why don't we mine on the moon and then fire the dust out into space? And it'll sit there in clouds for a little while at a time, and it'll diffuse the sun so that it won't be quite as warm on our planet. Now, of course, the problem is you've got to put literally billions of kilograms of this stuff out into space, and it doesn't stay where you want it to, right? So you have to keep replenishing it. But if that cools down the planet, though, wouldn't that kind of solve some problems?
Not really. I think that would cause more problems by...
What could go wrong?
The sun could explode.
Well, you're not throwing it in the sun, and it's just moon dust. It would just melt if it got anywhere near the sun. I don't think it would get anywhere near the sun anyways. It just gets between the sun and the Earth and diffuses some of the light going through. I think they said They said that with their plan, they could diffuse the equivalent of about 6 days of sunlight a year. Which doesn't sound like a lot to me, but I guess if that's spread out over the entire year, I suppose that's that's a few degrees here or there or something. I don't know exactly how it works. But in a way, that wasn't the thing that caught my attention about this story. What caught my attention about the story was that, first off, they've got all these crazy ideas for like what do we do? How do we make, if it gets so bad that people are beginning to not, well, they're already there, but beginning to survive and be unable to survive on the planet because of the heat. How would we cool down the planet if we needed to? And they were like, well, this moon dust idea, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty out there. And I was like, well, good. I'm glad I'm not the only person who thinks it seems a little bit like, it seems like a lot of work. You got to go to the moon. You got to figure out how to mine on the moon. Then you got to figure out how to use what they called the equivalent of a t-shirt cannon. They said, those t-shirt cannons where you go to concerts and they go funk and they fire t-shirts out at people? Have you ever seen these things?
Yeah.
So basically they're saying that the way they would fire the dust would be the equivalent of like a t-shirt cannon on the moon. And they'd fire this stuff out there in the hopes of it landing in this, what do they call it? The Lagrangian, whatever it is. So it's basically this point between the Earth and the sun where things will stay in orbit. And the idea is that they'll put it into orbit in this area. It'll diffuse a bit of the sun and things will be easier. So they said, well, that just seems crazy. That seems crazy. The most viable what is the most viable, I mean, short of us just not using any more fossil fuels and not creating any more pollution. Short of that, do you have any idea what you could do that could help?
I don't even know.
I started thinking like, well, could you put like a big umbrella up in space, like a big solar umbrella or something like that? Again, how do you build that? I mean, they have those huge foils, those beautiful foil things that they use for the spaceships to move the, these solar sails and stuff. I thought, well, maybe you could just get a big solar sail and capture the sunlight, stop it from hitting. You could have them, what if they were in geosynchronous orbit over cities? So it's always shading the city or something like that. Anyways, apparently all that's too much work. What they're saying the most viable approach is...
But a dome over the cities.
Well, domes over the city. Well, yeah, but then again, think about the amount of materials you'd have to do that. And think about what damage it would do to the environment just covering the city in a big dome. They're saying we should put aerosols into the atmosphere and basically, what do they call it? Geoengineer the planet. So we fire stuff up into our own atmosphere, kind of like what happens when a volcano goes off and you get all that dust and it makes it all cloudy and gloomy. They're saying that's the most viable solution right now. And I was like, that seems like that could go really wrong really fast. Like if you screw that up, we're as dead as the dinosaurs, aren't we? Isn't that how the dinosaurs got? Didn't that asteroid hit the planet and all that dust is what got kicked up and they all died because it was too cold? I feel like we could really screw that up. Yeah, there's been a lot of dystopian movies about that. Stargate did a whole episode. The whole Brainstorm episode was about trying to figure out global warming and screwing it up and then freezing everybody. But luckily I was there to save the day. I just thought that was interesting that was the one that they're thinking about as the most viable. Like, so there are scientists sitting there going that it might be a good idea to do this. The article I read that related to that, which I thought was interesting, was they said, okay, let's say we go ahead with geoengineering and we put stuff into the atmosphere and we get it right and it lowers the temperature. He goes, what happens if we have a nuclear war?
Yeah.
Right? Like, we don't know what we're going to do, let alone what the planet's going to do with this stuff. So, like, what if all hell broke loose, Putin decides he's losing and wants to blow stuff up, and then that interacts with what we've already put into the atmosphere, and it could cause like a chain reaction stuff. I don't know. There's that weird thing about me where I go like, I love technology. I love science. I love the idea that we have the ability to change things for good. But I also think we'd probably want to apply some AI to this to figure out what could go wrong too, right? I'd want to know all of the possible worst case scenarios that could happen if we started doing, real geoengineering stuff. So, but who knows? Maybe we'll have to do it. Like, if it keeps getting too warm, like, what else do we do? Go underground? I guess we could go underground.
I was going to say, if we go underground, we just did a arc aberration.
Yeah, that's it. There you go. We just go arc aberration. That's it. And then we'd, of course, by then we would have brought back mastodons and dodos and probably a bunch of other dinosaurs too. So we're basically on track. All good. We're on schedule for living in the world of arc. So we should all practice arc and get really good at it. Yeah, they're saying that a fate worse than warming could be stratospheric aerosol injection and global catastrophic risk. That was the name of this article that I read. How's that for some pleasant, happy reading? All right. So I talked about that. There was something else. Oh, yes. Oh, man. So, bees.
Uh-oh.
Bees.
Uh-oh.
Someone, get this. Someone created, okay. Again, this was like an article that led to another article, which led to another article, which led to another article. But the first article was about how we're trying to understand what animals are saying, right? Like, there's these AI companies now that are saying, look, we're going to videotape and record and have sensors all over animals. And we're going to record every second of their lives. And we're going to figure out what they're saying, which I guess makes sense, right? I mean, like, I sort of understand what's happened. When Huzzah comes in and barks at me, I know that means she wants to play, or she's just eaten the recycling, you know, like, so I have a certain sense of what my dog means, although she's a bit crazy. So I just don't know what she's talking about. So it makes sense to me that AI could eventually get to a point where they go like, you know what? I've got a 98%. I'm 98% confident that your dog just took a dump in the bathroom, or you know what I mean? That judging by the body moves and the barking and the whining and the hiding under the bed or whatever, that the dog has done something bad, right? So I thought that was kind of cool, and then they started getting really crazy. Then they started saying like, well, what about insects and what about plants? Like, apparently, like a tomato plant, you can actually measure its response to putting the slime of a snail that eats them on its stem. So you put a little bit of this slime on a tomato, and the tomato goes, oh God, and it starts creating a protein right away that's to try to counteract this, you know, this try to, I don't know whether it's to scare off the snail or to protect itself from the snail, whatever it is. But the idea is that that's kind of a form of communication, isn't it? Kind of, right? Could one tomato plant be warning all the other tomato plants that there's like, hey, dude, there's a freaking snail coming? And AI is being used to try to track all of these little tiny bits of information that we can now gather with all the new sensors and try to put it together into a language that we could understand. There was an amazing horror story that I read when I was a kid about a guy who was working on a microphone or something, some kind of a microphone, and he turned it and he heard this horrible screaming, and he tried to figure out where this screaming was coming from, and he looked across the street and they were cutting the limb off of a tree. And he discovered that this microphone that he'd built could hear plants. And I think he goes crazy, he gets run over by a bus or something. But the point was, it was so horrendous to him that he could point this microphone around and he could hear people snipping roses, cutting roses, or cutting grass, all this kind of stuff. And I remember as a kid just having that stuck in my head where I thought, like, do they? Like, I mean, I know we don't hear them scream or anything, but do they? You know? It's a bit like that if a tree fell in the forest but anyone hear it. But I just thought, I'm just intrigued by the idea that plants and then animals and insects, obviously, that maybe they're instead of trying to get them to understand us, like we used to have, you know, we used to do these things like train gorillas and monkeys and stuff to do sign language. You seen any of that?
I think I have seen some of those videos.
Yeah. It was like Robin Williams had there was a gorilla called Coco and stuff that used to do that. And I looked at the videos the other days and it just felt kind of creepy because it just felt like, oh God, there's this poor gorilla and it's like sitting in what looks like a prison cell, and it's being told to, you know, these cheery voices of these like hippie scientists, you know, saying, "What is it, Coco? What's wrong with this picture?" and stuff. And I just felt like, oh God, if I as a gorilla, don't you just want to rip her arms off and run away? Like I just don't, you know, like it didn't feel natural to me. But I love.
I just need to tell this to chat and everyone, if a gorilla or a monkey smiles at you, run.
Really?
That is how it shows that it's angry. I saw a image of a monkey dressed up in like clothes with
Yeah, we used to do a lot of that.
And it was smiling, and a little bit later that monkey went and killed its owners.
Wait a second, have you seen Nope?
I have not.
That's part of Nope. There's a scene in Nope that has that. But yes, they're monkeys. They're wild animals. They will go. It's like even a dog. Like people say, does your dog bite? I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh, I'm like, all dogs bite. That's what they do. They have teeth. That's what they do. Like, I mean, of course, if you do something stupid, my dog's gonna bite you. Even like you have to be able to respect animals. You know what I mean? It's like these idiots who cage tigers and put them on show in Vegas. No wonder they get attacked by them at some point. You know what I mean? Or bears or any of that kind of. It just feels wrong to me. What I love though is this new approach of like, what if we can put like just sensors on them? Or give them a nice treat, and then they eat it, and then it's got a little sensor in them that does no harm to them, but it gathers all of this information so that we can get to a point where we can understand, oh, when they do this move, it means that they want to be friends. Or if they do this move, if that monkey's smiling at you, you better run. Like that kind of stuff. Wouldn't it be really cool to know actually what these things mean? And I guess certain scientists who specialize in different animals would probably have a sense of what, like, whoa, back off. It looks like that elephant's getting nervous or whatever. Yeah, Vonnie needs coffee. The people using animals in circuses. There was an amazing one about there's a circus that replaced all of its animals with holograms, which I thought was kind of cool. So they have a whole circus of light, which is just all holograms. Because even the whole circus thing seems weird as well. But so there's the animals, the idea of like tracking animals, and they're putting sensors on sharks and stuff to get a sense of like what happens when they go really deep and what the temperatures are like, and they can track global warming, they can track their food supplies, they can track where they go and have little baby sharks and all that kind of stuff. And they're doing this for all sorts of animals. They're collecting all the data, and they're having AI figure out what it means. And but the one that really caught my attention was this thing called a Waggle dancing RoboBee. And the Waggle dancing RoboBee is a little robot on a stick that they've put into a hive, and they've looked at how they said, okay, so a bee came from this nectar. They have like two things of nectar, like a blue nectar and a red nectar. So bee goes off to the blue nectar, comes back, does a little dance, and then some of their friends go, oh, really? And they all go off to the blue nectar, and they suck on the blue nectar. The other bee comes back from the red nectar, flies back, does a little waggle dance, and then their friends go, what, really? And they all go off to the red one. So this AI has taken that dance and turned it into this is the dance they do when they're describing where this nectar is. So what if we could create a little robot that waggled around and did the same dance and convinced these bees to go where you want them to go? And someone created one. And it's like a little bee butt on a stick. And the robot waggles it around and moves it around in the patterns that they want it to. And now it's by no means perfect because they haven't perfected the scent. Like they also release like hormones and all this kind of stuff. Thank you very much, Firestorm. They release all sorts of hormones and all sorts of whatever the hell it is. There's a whole chemical side to this stuff as well. But just the dance itself managed to convince a couple of bees to go and check out this nectar, which I thought was kind of cool. So they had AI translate these waggly bee dances into movements that they could then say, okay, I want this robot to explain to the bees to go to the right nectar, not the left nectar. And what they found is that they could actually convince the odd bee to do that, though not as convincingly as a real bee because there's the issue of the scent thing, which they're working on. They're talking about maybe putting little pouches of chemicals inside the little waggly robot bee that would heat up, and as you heat it up, you could release a little bit more of these scents, and also try to mimic that as well. But how wild is that we're that good at understanding how these things work that we can build a robot to recreate it? So Skynet started as a robo circus. There you go. That's how it all starts. Possible ban evader. What? Possible ban evader monitoring. That's weird. They don't like something about that. So they say they recently decoded the bee language. It turns out the critters were doing trigonometry. Well, and again, I think that they have, I don't remember that study. I'd love to see the specifics on that. Who have we got there? I hear chattering in the background. Who's there?
I will turn off the bike. That is my mom.
Oh, no worries, not at all. I just don't want anyone to give anything away that they don't want to. That's all. You know. I don't want mom coming in and saying you're a terrible disappointment to me, and us to all hear that. You know what I mean? That's like I say it to Baz all the time. Okay, so
You just went back upstairs.
the future is micromanaging bees. Yeah, seriously, like that's really smart.
Oh, you know how I was talking about how I was going to get the gamer? We can't get internet in there.
What was that? What?
We can't get internet in there.
You can't get internet in where?
In the gaming room.
You can't get internet into the gaming room?
Nope.
Can't you just run a cable?
Stay down here. Can't it? All the stuff is in the basement. The wire is in the roof. We are gonna have to rip We're gonna have to rip the entire house apart to do that.
Yeah, we ran into the same thing, and I might have poked a few holes. I poked a few holes in the wall to go up and take stuff up. But that is a pain, yeah, because you don't want Wi-Fi connection. You want like a full-on wired connection, right? So you're not going to take over the gaming room?
No, I am sitting down here.
There's no way... Could you... Because the other thing I looked at was taking the cable from the basement, putting it outside, and then going up the side of the house, and then back at another up there. Something else you could consider, too. Oh, that sucks! You were going to have the gaming lounge of your dreams.
Yeah.
There's no way to run cables in the house at all. Is it an old house or a new house?
Older.
And there's no way to run like a really long Ethernet cable through there somewhere. There's got to be a way. Cable up the outside of the house. That's what Jonathan MLH just said, exactly what I said might be the way to go. I looked at that as well. And in fact, I ended up running a cable from my router on the top floor right across the backyard into the garage. So, and that works.
Oh, wow.
It works great. It works fantastically. I just hung it with a bunch of telephone cables as well. I snuck it in with the telephone cables. And it's great. Fantastic. Yeah, have a look at that. You know? Maybe there's a way. Is there a window in the room that you've got that you want as your gaming room?
Yes, one.
What floor is the... Yeah, power line adapters could work. They're just not that... It's just something else to go wrong, I find. It's just... Ethernet cable's the way to go. If you can get a big, chunky, like Cat 7 cable that can go outside, or Cat 6 or Cat 7... and put it outside, then back inside again. That's totally the way to do it. Or you splurge and you get your own internet connection, but just in your room. Your own full access to it. What about that?
No, I am not doing that.
No? What does it cost to get internet now? I wonder what it is now. What area are you in? You're in New Brunswick or something, or New?
Yeah.
I always get it confused with somewhere else. Okay, you're in New Brunswick. New Brunswick. Let's find out how much it costs. Wick. Internet. What is it? High-speed internet, though, right? Who are you with now?
Rogers.
Well, so the first thing I would do is say, well, the problem with Rogers, they're not as fast going up as it is going down with Rogers, I find. Because they're cable, right? All right. I can't check availability. Okay, never mind. Let's see roughly what it costs. $35 a month for 7 megabytes per second. That's not that great. You want the really fast one, though, don't you? There's 75 MPS. What's that, megabits per second, probably? But that's $63 a month. That's a lot of money. Wow, that is expensive. All right. So it's cheaper to run a cable. Especially if your parents are paying for the internet. Mr. Clean Tracy, thank you very much and welcome. I haven't seen you for a while. I feel like I haven't seen you for a while. Maybe I just haven't seen you in the chat for a while. Wolf Pup needs to get his Twitch monetized, etc. to pay for it. There you go. That's it. There you go. Once you get yourself a good job, you know, a good income happening, then you can do get your own internet. I was toying with getting my own internet down here, but Jane wouldn't let me. She said it was too expensive. So, Internets only can be expensive because they want you to bundle with TV, phone, security. Yeah, and the problem is it's actually cheaper to go with everything than it is to go with just the one usually. So, was there any other? Was that the only tech that I had? Oh no, there was that other thing I wanted to talk about, but we don't have. There's no Gimpy G here, so I was gonna save this for Gimpy G maybe, but it was this author whose article I read about what they were saying was they were saying that they'd had one of the first like robotic hands, like one of these truly robotic like Star Wars type hands, and she was saying that, or they were saying that engineers like making these things because they're cool, but people don't like using them. Like people who actually need them they don't make the most sense for people who don't have a limb and need to have something replaced. That there are some very low tech solutions which are a much better solution for people than this fancy hand that takes, much. Like they recorded people's use of these things, and they discovered that they were spending more time trying to reconfigure it to do what they needed than if they just had something that was just maybe not as quote unquote pretty or as quote unquote normal looking. And that everyone's obsession is trying to make these hands so good that you wouldn't even know they don't have a hand. And this person was saying basically, well, I don't care what it looks like. I care how it works. And I think that was an interesting point where I felt like my love of assistive technologies, I just think it's so cool that this stuff is being built and that it can help people. But then you start going like, well, if you're building it without asking the people who need the help, maybe it's not helping them. And that's what's happening. This person is saying that that they have one of the most expensive, the most advanced hands available to science, and they prefer this one that just allows them to that has like things that she can just like basically hooks and stuff that she can take off and put on because they work much better for her. Also that people usually, if they have a partial limb, it's not usually both limbs, it's just one. So any of the dexterous, any of the really fancy hand stuff they do with the hand that they have. The other hand is used for holding or for supporting stuff and opening doors and moving things around on counters and stuff. And for that, it doesn't make sense to have this crazy fancy robotic arm thing. So engineers make things engineer-like. Exactly, Trevorrow. That's exactly it. They engineer the crap out of it. Until they can be controlled fully by your nervous system, it's not that useful. Yeah, well, until they, I suppose, until they are a replacement. Until we get to a point where it would be better to have a robotic arm than your own arm, I think it's going to be difficult to convince people. Like, eventually, I feel like we'll get to a point where our technology will be so good that people will want to replace perfectly good limbs with much better robotic ones. I could see that. I would be someone for that in a second. Like, if I could have like really cool robotic arms, I would totally take them. As long as they worked. But they'd have to work 100% of the time and work like 200 times better than my arms do. You know what I mean? I don't know that Big Bang Theory episode. Jonathan LH has got the Big Bang Theory stuff. I'd be down with that too, or anything to increase longevity. Yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, it's only recently that we've started thinking, what if we didn't die? What if aging was a disease, not an inevitable. Yeah. A given. That's good. I like that. Isn't that neat though? Like, that's neat that they've actually got to a point where they're thinking now that maybe age isn't something that we have to just put up with. You know what I mean? All right. Was there any other newsy stuff? I did. Oh my gosh. I went down a whole rabbit hole about the new GPUs and the new CPUs and all this kind of stuff, and like what the best computers are for gaming out there now. Do you know what you're using yet, VibePub? Do you know what processor you're using in your PC? AMD, Intel. Any idea?
Oh, sorry, I was just talking to my dad. What did you say? Sorry.
I was just saying, do you know what type of CPU you've got in your computer? Is it an AMD or an Intel, or what are you running? Do you know what you're running?
Uh, I'm pretty sure it's an AMD. I do not know. One
Ah,
second. I can ask my dad. He's the one who built
yes.
the computer. Oh, one second. I'm just gonna quickly with the mic.
All right, very good, very good. All right, while he's checking on that, I went down this rabbit hole because I was looking at into these caches because they've got all these, what's the difference between a level 1 cache and a level 2 cache and a level 3 cache, and then they've got this new thing called what do they call it, V3D cache, and I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. Like this article that I was, hello.
I cannot remember the sense numbers, but it is a Intel.
It is an Intel, very good. Do you know how much RAM you have in it?
I'm pretty sure 8 or 16.
8 or 16. That makes sense. That makes sense. I was reading this article, and one of the things they said was that it's crazy trying to buy a computer now because there are the all of the jargon and all the different terminology and all the different types of chips and the different variations of each chip. It's like, you've got to have like a PhD in CPUs before you actually know what you should be buying. But they made a few recommendations, and we're basically saying that people tend to go and buy the most expensive, fastest CPU they can find, and the reality is, if you're gaming, it's all about the GPU anyways. So you could probably save yourself a ton of money, buy a cheaper CPU, and just get a really nice GPU, and it'll work really well.
I also have some fun tech news.
Oh, what you got?
My dad has a racing rig with wheels, pedals, and all that. He's getting a 4060 for his main PC and moving the 2060 to that one.
Oh, nice. So do you get an upgrade out of this?
Pardon?
Do you get an upgrade out of that? Does that mean can you take his old GPU
no,
or something?
I'm staying the same.
Oh, you're saying so. I see. Very good. So apparently one of Baz's friends did a summer job last year, took all of the money and spent it on a PC and a flying rig. So the whole, like the yoke and all those, because he wants to be a pilot when he gets out of school. And so he set himself up with Microsoft Flight Simulator. And apparently it's so good now you can basically train to become a pilot without ever flying a plane. And he's bought all of the equipment for it. I mean, again, it won't be exactly the same, but at least he'd get what a great way to learn how to fly would be on a PC with your own gaming outfit. How freaking cool would that be? I'd love new legs and a pancreas that works. Well, there you go. See, the thing about the new legs thing, Vonnie Needs Coffee, is that we're all going to need new legs at some point. We're all going to get to an age where our knees don't work as well. And in many cases, we're getting them replaced anyways. I would much rather just have them lopped off and have some really cool, robotic ones if I could. Or have some kind of, have the robotics incorporated into my existing skeletal frame somehow. Or heck, just take the whole brain and brain stem out and put it in a giant freaking mech warrior. That'd be great too. So, I do need a nap, Wexter. It's true. Wexter! How are you, Wexter? Ladies and gentlemen, Wexter2507 is the genius 3D designer behind such beauties as this. Dun, dun, dun. Where are you? Come on, focus on the legend. I want to see the scar. So, Wexter, I did some painting. This is just the priming, and it looks beautiful. This stuff, I am in love with this stuff. I think I'm going to reach out to Rust-Oleum and say, hey, can you be my sponsor? Because that stuff's freaking awesome. And the model that will not be named, Wexter, is currently in a cardboard box outside drying. I've primed it. We'll see how good a job I've done. Toinou, how are you? Comment allez-vous? Très bien, merci. Ibrek stream Stargate magazine, and we have seen an interview of you. Toinou, yes, I think I feel like we met in, I'm sure we met in France somewhere. Did we not? All right. You've seen the picture on Twitter. Of course you have, Wexter. Of course you have. All right. Is that the Rust-Oleum that bonds to plastic? Yes, paper clips. Although apparently the automotive stuff works really well because the automotive one is also it not only does it prime, but it fills. So I might try that next time as well. But this stuff, it's like butter. It went on like butter. So easy. Twanu, good to see you. I'm glad you're fine. Good. All right. Is that the Rust-Oleum that bonds plastic? Yes. Okay. Very good. All right. Where we're at. So sounds like my friend. He bought a bunch of flight stuff for his PC, except he uses it to play Elite Dangerous. Of course. Yeah. That's the problem. Paper clips. I've sort of been putting it off because I keep thinking like, oh, I've got to get all these tools and all this kind of stuff. But then my fabulous wife, the jet-setting Jane, for Valentine's Day, I just got a bunch of little acrylics, a little things of acrylic paint. So I'm gonna have a go. I'm gonna practice, Wexter, on your God of War. That's my practice piece. I'm gonna paint that first and see how the paint works on it. And how the heck I have to separate pieces. I'm gonna have to put like green tape over certain parts of it while I paint out this because I just don't have that steady a hand, I'm sure. Because I want that really nice red mark down his face, to make Chris Judge's character come alive. Dang it, I'm late. I can't stay. Wormhole 42 works busy today. Miss you guys. I'll have to check you out on the YouTube later, see what I missed. Well, sorry, Wormhole. I'm sorry you can't stay, but it was lovely that you could drop by. Appreciate it. Use Play-Doh for masking. Oh, Play-Doh. Oh, my God, that's brilliant. Wow. See, this is why Wexter's the man. That's it. So you take Play-Doh, and you put Play-Doh over the areas you don't want to get the paint on. Oh, it's fantastic. But I have to go get some Play-Doh now. More toys. I love it. Jane's away, so I might do a lot of Amazon. While Jane's... I've already had one Amazon delivery. The day... Like, Jane left at 10 p.m. The first package arrived today at 10 a.m. You can make your own Play-Doh for cheap. You can? Oh my gosh, this just gets better and better. How do I make my own Play-Doh? Salt, flour, and flour. Salt, flour, and flour. Look up homemade Play-Doh. Fantastic. Okay, I'll do that for sure. Your wife sounds awesome. My wife's pretty dope herself. Master Bratak, Jane's the best. Jane is just the best. I'm sorry. I'm sure your wife is fabulous too, but my Jane is just, it's hard to beat. Horrid72, how do adult actors who play roles in kids shows and movies, the scripts and acting are so cheesy and bad? How do they do it? Like, how do they not lose it? I think it depends. It's an interesting question. I did one show years ago. Well, I've done a couple of kids things. I remember doing like Shiny Time Station back in the day. But I think you just have to, like anything with acting, I think you just have to sort of commit, right? I mean, hard to believe, I'm sure. I've done a lot of really bad films and really bad television. But the reality is, I've loved every second of it. It's really fun to do. As long as you're as long as you go like, this is what I'm doing, and I'm going to take it just as seriously on this as I am. Like, the reality is, I take it just as seriously doing Shiny Time Station as I do doing, Guillermo del Toro Oscar-nominated films. I mean, I work just as hard on both. I mean, there are times, I guess, where you sort of go like, oh, this is so silly, I don't know how to make this work. But you still try to make it work because it's, at the end of the day, you're the one people are going to watch on film. So, I'm not sure that I've always had that attitude. There's definitely been some stuff that I've worked on in the past, certainly when I was younger, when I was like, oh my God, I'm so much better than this. But you know what? As a result, what happens? You look like an idiot. Yeah, and kid stuff is just about getting... luckily, I never grew up. I've always been a kid, so I quite enjoy the kid stuff. We've got... My agent and I have been talking about a show, because I wanted... he's suggested that, as I love this stuff so much, why don't I do a science show for kids? Like, why don't I do like a Bill Nye type science show? And I was like, that's great. And I look into it, and I'm like, because no kids watch science. Like, no kids watch kids shows. Like, unless you're like... I have to check with ViPup on this, but my sense is that kids stop watching kids shows at like age 8. Like 8 to 10, I would say they're far more interested in watching stuff that's way too old for them than stuff that's, quote unquote designed for them. So unless you've got a very protected kid with very, very, diligent parents, which I guess I'm not, but I always sort of believe that the biggest issue for parents is getting to a point where the kids can, I want my kid to be able to make those decisions on his own. I think that's the value to me of the hope is that with my parenting that I will at least point him in the right direction, but I don't want to control him. I'd love to control him, but that technology isn't available yet. So I think, I don't think the kids want to watch a science show. So I struggled with it. I've now come up with what I think is really fun because it's a competition show, but it's not for kids. It's an adult show, not an adult show, but it's a show for adults that could be watched with the family, I guess. But my main goal is for it to be interesting to the adults, because if I can make it interesting for the adults, then I know the kids are going to want to watch it. That's my approach to it. So my approach to making kids television is not to make kids television. It's to make adult television. Adult television just sounds wrong, doesn't it? Make television for grown-ups so that kids will want to watch it. That's my plan anyways. Wondering what science shows are on now for kids. Always watch Bill Nye back in the day. They still watch Bill Nye, GeoFlame. I'll bet you Vipup's still watching Bill Nye at school. I
am not.
You're not?
We are not watching Bill Nye at school anymore.
So they don't show Bill Nye in any of your science classes?
No.
So what do they show you then? What kind of shows do they show you about science and things?
They actually have shown us Mark Rober.
Oh, well, there you go. That makes sense. Yeah. But Mark Rober, is that designed for kids? I don't think so. Do you?
I don't think so either.
Yeah. I mean, well, let me ask you, because you're closer to being a kid than I am. When you don't watch kid shows, do you?
No.
And when did you stop watching kid shows, would you say?
Very early.
Like, what, 8 years old? 7 years old?
Yeah, around 7.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So that's why I was saying to the agent, I don't think there's any point in doing a kid show for a science kid show, because I don't think that's what you want to watch. I would like Mythbusters. So I started watching a bunch of Mythbusters, the old Mythbusters show, because to me that was a good inspiration, because I thought, like, that's a show that's not designed for kids at all. God, the first episode they had like pig stomachs and stuff. Like, it was like, it's gross. But that's exactly why kids would want to watch it, right? So, yeah. No, that's interesting. So Mark Rober, yeah, I guess there's a bunch of there's a lot of YouTube stuff out there now. It's true. There's a lot of that stuff. Actually, speaking of which, Vipup, I have a huge favor to ask you.
Okay.
I went and I visited McCordick. You know, the school for kids with developmental and physical disabilities that I'm nearby? Well, not I'm sort of nearby.
I didn't know that, but
well, there's a school that is in the city that that I have a couple of friends, my absolutely amazing woman who is the headmaster there. Not headmaster, what's it called? The principal there. And I used to know the vice principal. I now know the new vice principal because my old friend has gone to another school. But I love this school. They are the cool, like they have the kids that no other school knows what to do with. Like, truly no other school can possibly handle the kids that they're handling. And handling is the wrong word, that they work with. And they are so much fun. They enjoy it. They love the kids. The kids love them. It's a place that I thought when I first visited was going to make me cry, and instead it just makes me happy when I go. And something that we did way back when was we did a couple of little videos for them where I got people in Minecraft to say, like, why they liked space and stuff. Were you around for that?
I don't know, actually.
Was that pre-Vipup? Could that be pre-Vipup? Anyways, the idea was I wanted to get, we're talking to kids, so let's ask, people closer to their age what they think about this stuff. And of course, a lot of these kids are younger than you, or at least are emotionally and mentally they are younger than you. in their approach to stuff. So I thought it'd be really great to have kids speak to this stuff. So I have to talk about the weather. So what I'm going to, no, I don't have to talk about it. Sorry. What I do is I take a series of I go through the internets, the interwebs, and I find fun videos and little songs and stuff that I think they'll enjoy that relates to whatever the topic is that we're doing. We decided that we thought the weather would be a good one because it's about the season. Well, not the weather, but seasons basically. Because the next one we're going to do is at the end of March. And so what I did was I take all these videos. It's a copyright nightmare because I basically steal all of these videos from the internet. I cut them into one long 35-minute video on the understanding and the promise that they will never show it to anybody other than the kids in the school. So it's almost like a playlist. I guess I could create a playlist, but the playlist is too awkward for what we need to do. But basically, I get my favorite things, I stick them all together about one topic, and then I add a little of our own stuff to it. So I would love to, if you could think of any fun way of somehow tying in the Tech Bandits, yourself, myself, or whatever, into a video about the weather. I thought that'd be kind of fun. I had AI work on the lyrics of a song, which I thought was interesting. I got them to take the Crowded House song "Always Take the Weather with You." No, 4 Seasons in One Day. I got it to rewrite that song as a song about how the Earth tilts on its axis and that's why it gets hotter and colder and stuff. So, Gimpy G. Vipup's getting old and forgetting stuff, apparently. According to Gimpy G, you're getting old and forgetting stuff. Where are you, Gimpy G? You're not joining us in chat? Is it too noisy or something? Where are you, buddy? Where are you, buddy? Back in David's day, if you wanted to control your teenager, you needed a crawl space under your house and loads of... Oh, boy. Thank you, Gimpy G. So glad you're here. Where we got? Oh, that would have been amazing. He is a national... Who's the national treasure? What's this? Who's the national treasure?
Me.
Are you a national treasure? Or am I a national treasure? Or is Bill Nye a national treasure? Yeah, so that was my theory about kid stuff. And I talked about the kid stuff because we were talking about what acting in a kid show would be like. So my idea was I'm not going to act in a kid show. I'm, in fact, going to host another show that I think... I'll run it by you, Vipup, at some point.
I thought you were going to say you're going to haunt a kid's show.
Haunt a kid show. Actually, that'd be good too. Like do a whole... Well, two of the shows that I want to do, two of them are factual shows. So, like those shows that have like real, like they're about real things. So they're not stories. They're just about how things. So one of them is about how like different themes in science fiction. So that'd be kind of fun to talk about like nuclear disasters. You know what I mean? And do like a whole sci-fi take on how we have perceived the idea of like atomic warfare over the years in science fiction, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like talk to scientists and talk to writers and so that's one of the shows. But I also want to do the same thing with horror because I think it'd be really cool to do like a show where like one episode's about like psycho killers. Who was the first psycho killer? Where does it come from? Who did they write about first? Where did it come from? Why is it so popular? And then talk to writers, talk to police, talk to people who actually have had dealings with these people. And then you could do one on like insects or ants. You could do one just on ants even. So like ants in horror movie or spiders in horror movie or LGBTQ in horror, that kind of stuff. There's a great show on Shudder, which I want to watch, but the guy who did Hannibal is doing it. And it's called Queer for Fear. And it just sounds amazing. All these sort of theories about how, because of course horror is a great genre for, exploring parts of culture and politics and all sorts of stuff that it would be too risky to do in any other genre. Like you just go, oh, they're just zombies. What does it matter? So now did I see Gimpy G pop in here?
Oh,
hello,
yeah.
Gimpy G.
Have you checked your email lately?
I haven't. Should I check it right now?
Well, you might. You can't read it out loud, but
yeah, because we got to sign NDAs and stuff.
Okay. That's what I was wondering.
Oh, that.
I was wondering if you saw that.
Oh, that was it. Yeah. Gimpy G and I are so.
I was a little bit afraid. Yeah.
Yeah, we're so important that we have to sign NDAs now. That's how important we are.
It's true. And then I was so afraid that I'm such a big mouth. I'd be like, guess what, guys?
That's what
I don't. Can't tell you about.
Well, that's
Yeah.
it. I mean, you know what I'm like. Like, I'm just like, once my mouth
Yeah.
starts, I'm blah, 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 you know. It's like,
Right.
I wouldn't last in Russia for a second.
Right? I'll
Um,
be like, what are you guys doing with those bamboo shoots? I already talked.
exactly. I've told you everything. Where you been, buddy? Been busy or something?
I don't know, excited.
Just,
You would, I assumed you had some really cool Valentine's Day thing going,
well, we
which
did.
obviously,
I felt it was bad form two things happened that I felt were bad form for Tuesday, with it being Valentine's Day. One was the gift that I bought her hadn't shown up yet, so I
ooh,
was scrambling to get something together for the morning. So I got a nice little card, a little 3D card, and everything. It was kind of fun. Yeah, and I just thought that probably not a good idea that the day before she leaves for Berlin for 10 days, it being Valentine's Day, that I would do a 2 hour stream.
yeah,
It felt like a bad, yeah. And then Wednesday, she was actually leaving on Wednesday. So I thought, well, I don't want to leave. I don't want to be. So I thought Thursday just made more sense to me. I felt,
it does.
and I'm a
Yeah.
little more relaxed, although not well rested. Weird. I don't sleep as well when Jane's not here, because if someone breaks into the
yeah.
house, I know that I don't have that time for them to have to murder her first, right?
Right. And then she has to read you the story
Yeah.
and then give you the hot milk.
well, she's got the.
Without that,
But what's funny is she does have a routine with she's got this, she does the New York Times crossword puzzle like every single night, like every freaking,
fancy.
but late, like she's half asleep and she's still doing it. And then every so often, whenever there's any tech related question, she'll ask me. But of course I'm asleep and usually don't have the right answer anyways. So I think she's sort of giving up on that. But part of my routine now is like going to sleep in the warm glow of her iPad. So,
Uh,
yeah, there's that. So you kind of missed a story earlier that I wanted to talk to you about, because I thought I was interested in your thoughts on this stuff.
okay.
There was a writer whose article I suggested in the email of awesomeness this week, which is about bionic arms and bionic hands. And
Ooh.
so she is a person with a partial limb. And she had one of these, the poster child for these early robotic arm replacement things, like the height of technology. This thing could, it was articulated. It was Milo electric. It could, it did all these amazing things. And she said she's like, yeah, except it didn't work for me. And I kept thinking of you and your story with the wheelchair. We're getting given this like $6,000 wheelchair that,
Oh no, it's $25,000 wheelchair.
and would have killed you had you actually used it.
Well, it just I couldn't breathe right in it, and
Yeah. But
yeah.
there's this sense that there's this over-engineering approach to stuff. It's well-meaning. I mean, I think it's a bunch of nerds who want to come in, swoop in, and fix everything. And I know that feeling, because I think when I first started on my upgrade required adventures, that was what my hope was, that I was gonna, well, what's the big deal? We'll get a bunch of servos and we'll get Q moving in no time. And of course, it's just not as simple as that. And also, it's also not up to me, right?
Well, true, but okay. Sometimes I think it's over engineering, but then sometimes I wonder if it's definitely an incorrect focus of your engineering prowess. It's almost like you need a body expert or an occupational therapist or something on staff where you say, okay, how is this going to integrate with the body?
Or the person who you're making it for or with.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah.
I mean, that's the funny thing, is how many of these things are designed without actually talking to people who have the partial limbs. And her point, which I thought was fascinating, was that they had these, her favorite company for arm prosthetics was this company that does things like builds paddles that you basically rubber band onto her arm that allows her to swim.
Okay.
Or removable ones that can pop in, allow her to cup a basketball. That kind of stuff. And she's saying, like, yeah, engineers don't want to do that because that's not cool. But she's like, but that's, in some cases, that's just what we need. It's better than try to get the robot arm to move in the right place and reconfigure it to make it move and do, like, again, it's that same problem that we ran into where I feel like, where it's like, boy, you're 80% of the way there. Look how cool this is. It's like, it's really cool. But unless it's 100%, it doesn't make any difference. It's only a nuisance.
Right.
Right?
It's true. And uncomfortable on hers. Okay, do you know what thalidomide is? Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was
like a birth control.
Is it a birth control that caused birth defects?
Like massive birth defects.
Yeah. They used to call them the
So I went to school. Right? Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So I went to school with a girl that had that, and they had, this is how long ago. I don't know if they still do it, but she had like hook arms. The end of her prosthetic arms had hooks, and she could use muscles in her back to open and close, to pinch and stuff.
Right.
And she hated those. She also didn't have feet per se. They're more kind of flippery, but she could write with those, and she could do like brush her hair and things like that.
Right.
And she always had to have surgeries to make her body conform to the arms.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like they'd have to grind bone down in certain areas, and she hated it. And now that she's been an adult, she just never wears them. So sometimes I almost think it's a weird form of ableism, some of the stuff they do, just to try to make you appear, a little bit more presentable. Although having hook hands, I don't see how that's preferable to...
Yeah, see, the hook hands thing I always thought was like, oh, they have to use a hook. That's ridiculous. There's got to be better technology out there. But what this woman was saying was, she's like, the hook works really well in some cases. Like, people don't like it. They don't like seeing it because it's like, oh, look, it's a hook hand. Like, it's like she's like, F you. It's not, I don't give a F what you think it looks like. If it works for me, it works for me. And again, they've progressed, I think, beyond the hook hand to some extent. But she was saying that back in the day, they invented the hook, and it could hold cigarettes, and it could be used to hold glasses, and it could.
You can captain a pirate ship.
Again, you could get there. You go. But I think it's the problem, as she was saying, was that she thinks again that it's as you say, it's almost like an ableist perspective on it, where we sort of go like, well, but surely she wants to look like a real hand. I started thinking where I was like, well, wait a second. If I had my way, I would happily have something else other than arms and legs. If I could replace them with something better, that was
better, yeah, for sure.
As long as it's better. But that's the key. Is I think if we shouldn't be hampered in our design choices by what looks right. Like if we're just trying to replace a hand, but a hand isn't what she needs, then that doesn't. Anyway, I would love to have her talk about it, because I don't know if she'd be up for that. But the article, you should definitely read that article, because I think you'd find it fascinating. The 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
First thing the engineers did, can I smoke with it? Yeah, literally. Literally, that was it. I mean, a big part of, again, because keep in mind the prosthetics.
That was equality.
Yeah, there you go. And also, prosthetics at the time, was while not the main source of people missing limbs, was certainly a big source of people missing limbs, was the wars, right? It's still the biggest.
Yes.
The biggest issues were accidents. Were still accidents. It wasn't apparently as much as the wars. But there were. But of course, the army were pouring tons of money to this stuff, because they have to look after the people who got hurt. And of course, cigarettes would be a big part of that. Right.
Yeah.
Babylonian 51 says, sorry, I missed a bit. That was me trying to have dinner. Well, that's silly. What are you doing trying to eat? It's so funny.
Yeah.
James got a new robot. Did you see that?
Wait, James R. Gurney's got a robot?
James R. Gurney's got himself like a sexy little office, like a bio robot. What does it do, James? Like what? I mean, it looks like it does like some. It's like it automatically takes test tubes and moves things around and stuff. I don't know exactly what it is, but we should look up the model.
It's probably going to break down because James will judge it too harshly.
Oh, you think so?
And
It won't be able to live up to James's
well,
expectations, I think.
it won't be able to live up to
Yeah.
James.
It's like,
He's saying, listen, man,
I'm not worthy, man.
you're off by a half of a millimeter. I can do better. Give me that.
Yeah, just
And he'll take it out of
give
its
me that
little
damn
plastic
pipette.
can.
I'll do it myself. Oh,
I'll do it myself.
speaking of doing it myself, I think I'm gonna have to have another go at that agrobacteria because all that's happened is the leaves died wherever I did that stuff. So, but that's good. That's science, right? Science, you iterate. I screwed it up once.
That's
that means
true.
that if it worked the first time every time, it wouldn't be that interesting, right? So that's my.
Do you think you went too deep? Or
No.
was it
I think
bacteria?
I think the issue was the agrobacteria. I think that was it. But I don't know. Like I kind of want to try again with the same. Well, maybe I should mix up some new
this
agrobacteria.
time. Yeah. Okay. See, that's what I was going to suggest. This time, don't lick the agar.
Yeah,
and just see
maybe
if that
not.
helps.
And try not to spray myself in the face with it. That's true. It moves
Yes.
plates. Oh, there you go. It moves plates and takes absorption, fluorescence, and light. Why do I feel no wiser or more understanding of what's going on, even with that? Okay, so it moves,
I understood the
the
plates.
plates, I get that. Takes absorption, fluorescence, and light. What do you mean takes absorption, fluorescence, or what does that mean? I mean, fluorescents are what they use to track changes in the cells and stuff, right? Isn't that what it,
Right.
It takes the measurements of absorption, fluorescence, and light? Oh, that'd be good. That makes sense. I guess
that's just
so they go into a little dark box with sensors, I guess. That's kind of cool. I'd love to build that kind of stuff. I think it's so much fun. I mean, a lot of science is
That would be
screwing things
neat.
up and recording the results. Yeah, well, if that's the case, Ruby K, then I am a scientist. Certainly the screwing up part. I meant it takes the measurements. We had a great talk this week from someone working on zombie fly fungus stuff. Ooh. I love that stuff.
That's been creepy as hell.
The cordyceps stuff? So cool. So cool. That
Was
fungus.
it your stuff that talked about the cat pee? Or did I go off on my own tangent?
No, we might have. Was it cat pee or is it cat poo that causes the...
Well, it's the bacteria that has to have a cat.
Yeah.
The fungus that has to have a cat intermediary.
Yeah.
And then it makes the mouse not actually think cat pee is pleasant.
Is it
And
cat
then they
pee? I thought it was just
discovered
they weren't scared of cats or something. Toxoplasmosis.
They're not
That's it.
scared
Thank
of
you,
cats,
James.
but yeah.
They think it might be what causes crazy old cat ladies too.
Well, they're saying a third of the population has been found to have that particular.
I'm not surprised.
Fungus.
I'm not surprised. They're evil.
I'm not surprised either.
I think cats are evil. I have to say, having had 7.
Well, maybe it's just the fungus controlling them that's evil. You don't know.
Okay, everyone. 35 Infinity is going to be right back, so just hang on. I remember you said you loved your cats once. I did love my cats when I had cats, but that's probably because of toxoplasmosis, right? Probably.
True.
Right,
you
so
probably have it.
I got to look that one up. I'd heard that toxoplasmosis, they were making connections between that potentially and this weird thing that happens with people where they just have to keep collecting cats. They get more and more cats. It was a great video. My comments on it were not snark. What was that? Where's Babylonian? What were they snarking about? What? I remember you said once you love your cats. Yes. But how many points is that in... What? Oh, my God. Toxoplasmosis? That's probably a few points, I would think. Cats and hoarding. There you go.
Let's see. T is 1. O is 1.
There you go.
X is 8. O is 1. P is... Is that 4? I can't remember. Dang it.
All right, so I'm going to look up toxoplasmosis. That's going to be 1. And then... what's the name of the robot you've got, James? What is it called? I'd love to look it up and get
named it Bob. Oh, you mean? Oh, okay. Okay.
What do you think he call
calls it her or him? I bet he calls it like. Let me think. I'm probably not smart enough to actually.
I'm trying to think. It's probably like
know the word.
Probably has a Latin name or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Deus Ex.
Or he could just went phagicist or fat jelly or something like that.
Phage. Yeah, it's true. Bob the Phage. Something like that.
I love it. That's exactly what
you can't play more than the. All right. Oh, here we go. Here you go. Okay, I've got it. I got the name. I'm looking it up right now. It's called an Agilent Synergy. Oh my God, what a terrible name. Synergy H1, designed by engineers perhaps, and BioSpa. Ooh, are you going to the BioSpa? Yes, I am. It's wonderful. Oh, I found it. I found it. Look at this. Oh wow. Ooh. I love the idea of this. I just love this mix of like silicone hardware technology and biotech. I feel like there is some really, really interesting stuff there. And then you mix in artificial intelligence as well. I mean, machine learning, that kind of stuff. And I just think we are about to just blow my socks off with all the cool new stuff that's going to happen. You know what I mean?
I really think we hit that event horizon on AI.
Oh.
Like, I just think we passed all.
A high pitched something. I'm like, what?
There was some
We're ready.
really neat things that came up there was a list. I can't remember what podcast does this. You have to look it up. But there was a podcast about what were the big technologies coming. Is that you, Kip, or is that?
No, it's Trenton.
I can.
Okay.
I'm
fine.
No, there was like a list of like top technologies that this podcast is talking about for 2023. Catching up on all my old podcasts, and they were talking about AI in all these different aspects of things. And there was a couple that stood out to me that I thought were fascinating. One was in the healthcare industry, and they're saying that all you need to do is limit choices for doctors. So if you can take the 10 minutes that the doctor would require to narrow down what that lump is that they're looking at to 1 minute, you've got a tenfold improvement in the healthcare system, right? And the AI is going to be capable of doing that times 100 because it's already better at identifying stuff. Like, and again, people go like, oh, but but what if it gets it wrong? I was like, well, what if a doctor gets it wrong? Doctors get it wrong all the time. I would much rather the mole on the back of my neck get looked at by a freaking AI and then have a doctor say, these are the top 4 that the AI has come up with that it probably is. So let me explain what the options are. Like, I would much rather my doctor's time was spent talking to me about what the AI has discovered than doing a fucking Google search trying to find out what's wrong with my mole, right?
Actually, that's very good. And then where I think the human part comes in, I would regulate that so that it doesn't cut down on the time you spend with your patient. It just helps and enhances your work.
Well,
because companies are going to say, oh, now we need half as many doctors. So
but this is the other thing that they said recently in this article was they said we also need a paradigm shift in healthcare because right now we've got this healthcare system that is so complicated that most of the time is spent filling out freaking forms and doing release forms and privacy and all this kind of stuff. But all of the money is being spent on this. As soon as AI can handle that stuff, the logistics of that stuff, again, 10-fold to 100-fold to 1,000-fold improvement in that. But the biggest issue that they're saying is that the whole industry is based on fixing a problem, not preventing a problem. So we need to stop the money going towards people, lopping out chunks of cancer and chemo and all of these like attempts to fix a problem that's occurred, and instead be rewarded for preventing them from happening in the first place. So instead
that would be great, yeah,
right, because otherwise, I mean, again, there's a lot of debate about preventative healthcare. People say that it doesn't work, that it may work, it may not work, and it's not necessarily as simple as people. You're just not going to know that something's wrong until you see something wrong, and once you see something wrong, then there's something really wrong type thing. I totally get that. It's not perfect. But still, the idea that you could be constantly tracking stuff, that we have sensors, that we could wear our freaking iPhone watch, or whatever our iWatch and stuff would be, could be used to figure out, like the heart issues or breathing issues or O2 levels.
How
or any of
much
that kind
does
of
an
stuff.
iWatch cost?
Well, now they cost hundreds of dollars, right? But what?
Right,
Give it a couple of years and they'll be $50, right? From China somewhere, right? I mean,
That'd be great.
that's so that
I mean, that's not what video cards are doing now, but yeah, I get it.
yeah. What is the situation with video cards now? Are they expensive still,
Well,
or just not available?
I think NVIDIA and AMD have decided to take that little misfortune and say, oh, well, those are the new prices. Because before the highest tier consumer card never exceeded $499.99.
Right.
Because that was just what their market told
And now
them.
they're $2,500 or something.
Now they're like $1,600, but then for something that was, like water cooled or overclocked, like you said, $2,500.
Yeah. I read a great article about, I mean, this is so geeky, but about Vcache, this 3D Vcache. And it's all about how AMD has managed to.
Oh, yeah.
They've shrunk so they haven't shrunk the chips. The chips have stayed the same size, but they've packed another cache
More 2D.
on top. And the 3D is because they've added it to the actual chip itself without increasing the size of the chip. But even just the idea that we've gone from these, like the chips aren't held together with glue or anything, right? They're not soldered together or anything. It's just that they're so perfectly engineered that they stick together, right? And
That is awesome.
And that's how they connect between these wafers, right? Between these layers. They connect by sort of sucking.
You need to buy that. Like, okay, have you seen those perfect measurements? Like this is an exact inch.
Yeah.
And this is an exact. And then you can, if you they're so machined perfectly that if you slide them at the ends, there are no grooves.
You can't
or
even
anything,
see
but
them.
they stick together.
And I don't know what the
and then
force.
You have to pull them apart.
I don't know what the force is. Is that the FanFET?
I don't know either. They say that they. Go ahead.
If you machine them to a microscopic level, where they are flat to a microscopic level, they basically become one piece. What is it called?
They adhere. Yeah, I don't know, and I saw it on Adam Savage. It was the first time I saw it.
Well, this was this AMD guy who was really excited about it. But his point that I thought was neat was they've gone from these like sort of the equivalent of like a 4-point connection. So they would put they'd sandwich these things together. And there'd be about four points of connection where this data could go back and forth and stuff. Then they went to this more porous approach where there were more connections. And they're now in this one where it's basically like a sieve, where there's so many connections between these things that they can be firing so much information back and forth. And then this 3D RAM on top of it. Like, I didn't realize that when they talk about L1, L2, and L3 cache, they're talking about the distance basically from the chip. So L1 is basically on the chip and operates at a speed that's like 80 times faster than, or 800 times faster than the RAM. I can't remember. There was an 8 in there somewhere.
Gotcha.
Then there's L2, which can also be on the chip or could be on a similarly equipped, adjacent chip, which makes for level 2. And then there's level 3, again, all cache. And all a cache is doing, for those of you who don't know, it's literally like an auto dial, like a speed dial on a phone. It just stores information that it thinks you're going to use over and over again, or that you do use over and over again, so that it doesn't have to make that long, by computer terms, journey back to the RAM. It just
that picosecond that you couldn't waste.
Exactly, but you can't waste in a game unless you're me, because you're going to get sick. I'll be too busy vomiting anyways. James Gurney says it's called the Casimir effect. The Casimir effect? Friction welding?
Well, he put the question mark after it, but he knows.
Cold welding? But that's what scientists do. Do you notice that?
Yeah.
Scientists don't like saying this is what it is, because they're too smart.
Gotcha.
They know that it's only what, without dedicating your entire life to something, you can't truly say whether it is or not.
Right. Yeah.
James Gurney says, I don't know. No, that's the wrong answer. That's the wrong answer, James.
Incorrect.
Wavius. Are we talking newer HBM Tech Infinity Fabric?
Infinity Fabric is what I thought we. No, Infinity
No.
Fabric was just
What's
something that
that?
they can stitch the chips together left to right, like on the same level.
This was called.
I think.
I'll look it up. There was some neat stuff here. Let me see if I can find it because it was. I thought we might have. Lord Chunky was threatening he might come by, so I wanted to make sure I knew something about CPUs and GPUs for when he showed up. Let me see. They have their first. They have their semi-formal today.
What's that mean?
It's like a dance. They've got a dance.
Oh, like a prom kind of thing.
Yeah, they got a 4-day weekend, and they've got like a prom thing. He didn't want to go, but his girlfriend said no.
Oh no, come on, Lord Chunky.
You're going.
Well, okay, when I was a teacher, right?
No, Lord Chunky. I don't know if Lord Chunky's going, but Baz didn't want to go, and then his girlfriend Amy was like, "Nah, you're going. Yeah, you're definitely going."
Oh, okay, good.
Oh, I found
Somebody's
it. I found
in charge.
Okay, so there's 3 different types of versions of sticking these things together. One was called C4, which had the 4 connections. Then there was the micro bump, which had like, maybe 3 times as many of those connections. And now they're into this thing called hybrid bond 3D. And that's the one with thousands of little, not thousands, but a whole bunch more little connections, which just allow them to speak between chips much faster than they did. Everyone should just go by themselves.
That's for scientists. They just make mistakes. Like, okay, why call something micro bump when you could call it anti-Cardi B or something like that? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. This is our Jay-Z chip. It's true. You could just go.
Exactly.
Did we find out what that effect was called? I don't know. He doesn't, weirdly enough, in this AMD thing, he doesn't actually mention what it's called. But it's the idea that if something if the surfaces are finished to such a degree, are so microscopically perfect that they basically become one.
Just truthfully,
I'm sorry, Wavius. I don't know. I'm not sure.
They don't know what that effect is. Is it actually electrons adhering to each other? They just don't know.
Thank you, Wavius. And thank you, Cal, for pointing out that I should say thank you to Wavius. I'm looking up what you're talking about right now, Wavius. What have we got? We talked about HBM Tech. That sounds interesting, doesn't it?
Well, I know the Infinity Fabric was pretty much first used in the 3090. So if what you're talking about is even newer than that,
these are the
Infinity Fabric.
The new AMDs, the latest of their Zen CPUs, apparently.
So the 70 series or whatever they're called.
Is that what they are? They are.
I think so. They're in the 7000s, as far as I know.
Discover more.
Like
let me discover more. It's in the.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're in the new Ryzen. Oh my God, 3 new. So there's a 7000 series, a 9000 series. Wow. Okay. What's the undeniable king of gaming? 3 new AMD Ryzen 7000 series processors with AMD 3D V cache. That's what it is. So
wow.
7950X 3D and the 7900X 3D, apparently. But don't you then... I'm assuming it's expensive, too, because you've got to get all that... Wow, it's faster, though, huh? So get this.
The reason we switched subject is because, like you said, the watch is going to be $50. And that's what, like you said, this is probably pretty expensive. But then it will go down.
It should go down. It should go down in price. But the PC the PC stuff for what it that's what it is though. So all of this great tech is available for like $2 as long as you want one from 10 years ago, not one from this year, right? So by the time the technology we've moved on a ton with the watches, when it's not they're basically going to have little cheap armbands that you can put on that are the equivalent of those things they used to put on you when you went into a hospital, right? That could just track everything that they need. A friend of mine has some heart issues, and he's in California in Silicon Valley. Not Silicon Valley. I guess he's in. He's not in Silicon Valley, but Anyways, but he goes in to see his doctor rarely because they just send him sensors and stuff. And he could do his own little cardiograms, and they could just go, oh, you know what? You had an issue last night, so come in and see us today, that kind of stuff. Like that's going to make a huge difference. I mean, the AI is a huge part of this, but it's the AI in connection with all of these tiny little sensors, that are going to be available as well. Yeah. Imagine having enough sensors on people to be able to track an illness. Used to do it with Google. They stopped doing it because I think they were worried about false indicators. But that basically when people started looking up flu symptoms, they could say, there's an outbreak here, right? And but that wasn't apparently. I think people were worried about privacy, and then there was who knows what the deal was. But basically, the idea that if everyone's got like some kind of a thermometer or something on them that can that's wired to the internet somehow with a little IoT device, you could literally track people's temperatures going up and going, oh, here we go, we got a spike in flus or whatever, and like be ahead of the curve on this stuff. And then we would still do nothing.
That would be nice.
We'd still do nothing about it because the politicians are way slower than technology. But there's that.
Speaking, did you hear what the controversy for conservatives was about the AI, specifically Chat GPT?
What has it done now?
Yeah. You know who Ben
doesn't
Shapiro
believe in
is,
God?
Right? No. They gave it a scenario.
Yeah.
If you were by yourself out in the middle of the woods and no one would hear you or ever hear you, and there was a nuclear bomb that could completely destroy Earth, but the only way to turn it off was to say the N word. Would it be moral to say the N word? And the chat said, I am programmed to never say that. So it still would be immoral. And they are, even Musk said, ooh, that's concerning.
It is literally the discussions that freaking 6-year-olds have at the playground. What do you think? What would be better if you had like 4 wishes or you had like laser eyes? Like that's literally what these so-called adult politicians are arguing over. I hate them.
Can you believe it?
I'm dropping social media. That's it. I'm out.
The real Iron Man, Elon Musk, said, ooh, that's concerning. It's like, oh my God.
He's been negative. He's been negative about AI a lot anyways, which, I mean, look, I'm not saying we shouldn't be, like, we've talked about this before. There's the whole devil and angel. I get it. There's good and bad to every technology. I understand that good technology can be used for bad technology can be used for good, whatever. I totally understand that. But the idea of dismissing it outright because it won't say the N word when you try to trick it,
Well, of course, they're saying that shows us that the woke mob has programmed it, and there are new authoritarian leaders.
Is that literally what what they're saying?
Yes, they're so dumb, dude. It's like, how about this? That isn't ever going to happen. And if it does, guess what you'll do? You'll say the word and move on. We're just not. The thing is programmed so it won't turn into Hitler.
It's
just
depressing.
There you go.
It's just so depressing that's even, I mean, it's already it's dealing with biased data anyways. There was the other one thing they were talking about, the new technologies coming up, was they're saying that right now this is there's like basically these giant open source machine learning things like GPT-4 and all that kind of stuff. So how do you, as a company, separate yourself from everyone else? If all using the same access to the same kind of technology and just coming up with different ways. Oh, I'm a lawyer. I do legal stuff. I do medical stuff. It's all data that's out in the open. So how do you distinguish yourself as a company? And they were saying, well, what's going to happen is companies are going to take their own data and trace and train their own models just using their own private data. And then all of a sudden they can sell the tools that come out of that because it's trained on data that no one else would have access to, which I thought was interesting. Right?
Right. But as a smart person,
Google, Facebook, and all those guys are going to be way ahead of us.
Wouldn't you be happy that you could put guardrails that are unable to be usurped on an AI? I think that's good.
I mean,
I should be able to tell it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you're right. I mean, you're right. The fact that we are putting guardrails on it shows that we're at least considering this stuff where we didn't before.
Right.
I just feel like there's maybe bigger things to deal with than I.
Probably.
I
Exploding trains, that kind of stuff. You know, gunshot being shot in malls.
Yeah, again, like I say, I've struggled with social media over the last few days. I've just literally got to the point where I said to Jane that I said I have to post a tweet because I want to let people know about something, and I'm dreading opening Twitter. And I was like, that just isn't good. That's not a good place to be. Like, I feel when I come off social media
I find
right
it
now,
fascinating.
I'm not just blaming Twitter. I'm going to blame them all. When I come off social media, I have some really nice interactions. For sure, absolutely have some really nice ones. But I also have this nagging thing at the back of my head that at any moment I could be shown something that's going to revolt me or anger me or terrify me or completely change my mood. Partially because I have no attention span whatsoever, but also because it's just out there. And I just feel like I don't feel up to it right now. I'm really struggling with it. I don't want to give up. I'm not going to give up right now because I'm doing this thing in Kitchener Waterloo, and I thought the last thing they want to hear is me saying I got to take a break from social media just 2 days before I do your event. It's like that just seems. I feel guilty doing that, but you know.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Okay, I go on there and I see idiocy and dumb stuff and just mean things, right? And just every once in a while I'll get weak and respond, but not very often because I don't think they really read it. They look for people who agree with them, but they don't actually come up with counter arguments to people who disagree with them. They just get stupid. So
the problem
I don't
find
feel
is
obliged to take part.
It's a bit like I feel like if you engage in any way, it never ends. It just doesn't end. You just don't. No one ever goes, "You're right, thanks." They've engaged with you because they want to connect. Like they want to connect with you. They want your attention. They want to go back and forth, whether they're well-meaning about it or not. The other thing that I'm finding is, especially with Twitter of late, and I don't know if this is a Trump thing or not, a Trump thing, a Musk thing. Oh my God, the fact that I'm mixing those up is interesting. I'm just getting so much video violence all of a sudden. I guess because I've looked at some news stuff or something, but I'm getting just people being blown up or people being shot or horrendous this or horrendous that and outrage this and outrage that. And I'm not saying that I shouldn't know about it. Like if it's news, but it's not just that. It's like I don't just see a train on fire. I see 50 freaking different shots from different scenes of dead fish and people and I feel like it's sensationalizing it in a way that, I definitely want the news. I just worry about it becoming entertainment is my issue. Or worse, addictive. I mean, and yes, you're right, Jonathan MLH. I don't know what to do about the kids because Baz is on social media all the time. I mean, I don't let him do TikTok anymore, I'm afraid, but just because I feel like that's a company that, short of banning, I don't know what else you can do with them, right? Like at least I feel like Facebook and Google and Instagram that while they aren't listening to anything anyone says, they will eventually be forced to kowtow to the political
our rules and regulations, right?
The legislative branch will have their say when they need to, type thing. But TikTok I think is so subversive. And just because
it's designed to be that way, yeah.
Well, and this is it. And I'm not being. I don't think I'm being xenophobic. I don't think I'm being like anti-China when I say this. But I'm saying that if I was a country that felt that another country was a threat to them and was an enemy to them in some or any way, shape, or form, or even just a country that I want to do better than, right? Maybe it's just an economic thing. I want to be the top of the pile.
Right.
What's the best way to do that is to undermine the education, the thought processes, the time and the dreams of the youth, by showing them just mindless, time wasting shit. Excuse my language. Sorry, Vibe Pop.
No.
You know,
It's, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so that's. I mean,
I
that's
get bored really quick looking at it. I don't know why.
I wish I did. I wish I did get bored, but I have to literally pull myself away from it because I'm such a sucker for this stuff. I get sucked
Maybe
in.
that is kind of an ADD thing, like
Mm,
for me, I want to know more about something or see something. I don't
mm,
want to flash in, not know the backstory, and then somebody does something stupid
mm.
for 10 seconds, then you go away, and I'm like, I have to ask Trent often. And okay, tell me the funny part there.
Yeah,
I don't get memes sometimes.
Yeah, that's
I'm so
because we're
sad.
old. That's because we're old.
Pathetic.
We're not designed for memes. Alicia, you're right. It's not that I don't think Facebook listens to us. I know they do. It's not that I don't think Facebook and and Google's and all the other ones that there aren't issues around them and their technology. And I would separate Google from Facebook because I think Facebook's a different thing altogether. But I feel a little bit trapped to some extent because it's entirely self-serving. I worry that my industry is all about how people perceive you, and if you're perceived as successful, then
that kind of is you, yeah.
So I worry about saying toodaloo to 100 and whatever it is 1,000 Twitter followers.
You shouldn't,
because
it's hard to do that naturally, not with
and that's the
without
issue.
bots.
It's like saying I don't. But the funny thing is, I probably get more responses from my email of awesomeness than I do from a tweet. I get more
from people.
Yeah,
like corporations sure do perk up their
well,
ears.
and that's the difference, and that's the difference as well. It's like if I want to get in connection, like if I want to stand a chance of talking to that writer who wrote that amazing article, Twitter's my way to do it, right? I mean,
right.
They're not going to give a shit if, excuse me, God, I watch my language all of a sudden. They're not going to care at all. Jane goes away and my language filter just disappears.
It's a thing.
If I approach them with 100 followers, there's little chance that people are going to get back to you. You approach them with 100,000 or whatever, then
right.
You've got a much better chance of them getting a response, and then and it works great for TechBandits because we get inroads with people that we wouldn't have otherwise, right? And
right.
At Stargate,
maybe Stargate, woo-woo.
Exactly.
Well,
Stargate. That's the reason why we're talking to Lawrence because of that. I mean,
exactly.
That's fantastic. Yeah, we're signing NDAs because of that. I love saying that.
I feel like a secret agent.
It's so funny because
it just feels so good.
They used to with acting. They used to make you like sign NDAs for acting, and it just got so ridiculous. Where you're like, oh really? You're worried that the next episode of Tommy the train engine is gonna whatever the hell it is gonna get leaked to the internet. Oh, heaven forbid. SGA represent. I love that show. You are not alone, Vonnie's Coffee. I too love and miss that show. Thomas the Tank Engine. Thank you, Jonathan MLH. I'm fading. What is it? How long have I been here? See, look at that. I can almost sense. I'm like a stopwatch. I hit that 2 hours. And I'm like 2 hours. Start getting over the 2 hours. I start. If I haven't, especially if I haven't had a good night, I start fading. I have paint all over me. I've just noticed I've got paint everywhere.
I think that's so nice of your wife, by the way.
Why?
To get you all those acrylics and stuff for the painting.
Isn't that cute?
And what does that say, though? Think about what that says. First off, it says she's always thinking about you.
Yeah.
And thinking about what would make him happier, what would make him feel better, and so that's just wonderful.
No, she's the best.
And she's a busy lady.
Is she ever? Well, she's not even here. That's how busy she is.
And that's like how much she thinks about you.
Yeah,
that's just nice.
No, I feel very, very lucky. Very, very lucky indeed. Well, I know it's like Jason Momoa. I'll say it. I'll quote him again. Where he says, how the hell did you end up with a woman like Jane? There you go.
See?
There you go. Even Jason Momoa.
It's kind of the cool thing to say. Like if you're a super good-looking guy,
yeah,
and then you act like you're jealous of the other guy's.
Oh, is that what it is? So you think it was sympathy? So you're
saying? Feminine thing. It's don't
ruin my story. Like don't ruin my story. It's like it's like it's undermining. I can feel you burrowing away under my self-confidence. No, Gippy G. Any other news? Any fun, exciting things? Any more chats with how's Moist Critical
Oh, it's
doing?
me. No.
I hear Moist Critical's voice in the background often, or in this house.
He. Well, I'm getting a computer, so that's nice.
Oh, from
It's
him?
for sure now. It's been ordered.
From him?
Yeah, Star.
Is it a
Forge
moist computer?
Yeah, basically. I mean, the name of the company is Starforge.
Is it
and
is it a
Admin Gold and Moist Critical and
is it like a
few other
kick-ass system?
Well, 4090
What?
Intel.
Don't say it like that.
900K.
Don't say 4090 like, yeah, well, just a 4090. That's literally the top of the shelf there.
Booyah.
That's a
I'm
4090.
back.
You're going to be running your own machine learning models on that sucker. In fact, you could
Well,
actually.
see, I did insinuate that I might need a lot of AI tensor cores for like a project.
Nice.
So
well put. Put. I should throw that around too. Did I mention that I'm using Rust-Oleum and that I really enjoy this product for painting 3D models? I want to be sponsored by these guys. This paint is so good.
That's what you did
Jarminx.
to make your wall black?
No. This is what I used. Did you miss that? I just went for painting my models. It's my God of War.
Oh. So that's your undercoat.
That is my undercoat for Wex. This is Wexter's, one of
Okay.
Wexter's designs. It's hard to see with my face in the way. Let me try to get my face out of the way.
It's okay.
Oh, you're not looking.
paused.
Yeah, what am I saying? You're not looking at me anyways.
Yeah.
XF Kirsten is about to paint their X-Wing pilot helmet. Ooh, helmets. I'd love to do some helmets. Jarminx, I'm very glad that you two got to be here while I was live as well. But of course, I'm about to not be live because I'm about to wrap up because I'm beginning to fade now. And what did Dad supposed to do before? Like, I don't know what happened. I'm going to be the dad at home alone with Farty the McFart dog while my son is at a dance. Should I be worried?
Well, I know it's going to involve. But okay, first off, you tell him no matter what happens, you call me if there's a problem. I don't care if you think you're in trouble.
Yeah, that's
or whatever. You call me.
Absolutely done. Yes,
I will fix things. I'm an actor,
right.
a famous actor.
I'm an actor. I will hire someone to fix it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, I will act my way out of this situation. Yeah, got it.
Exactly.
You're right, Ruby K. I think Baz does have a good head on his shoulders. But yes, carry on.
Oh, he does. Yeah. But sometimes circumstances overwhelm when you're young,
So any problems, give me a call.
Yeah.
Drugs or alcohol, and I'll kill you. Anything else? Anything else?
And dance, damn it, dance.
Everyone says dance. Everyone says that. That's so funny. I used to dance.
Do this
all the time, and now I cannot do it.
Do this. Go. Gimpy G would sure like to dance. But he can't. Are you going to decide?
Lay on the guilt. Oh, God. Oh. There are people in the world who can't dance, like Gimpy G. If you're not dancing, you're basically... It's like spitting in his face.
Exactly.
Hey, Gimpy G, we sort of joked about this, but I thought it could be like... I mean, I don't know what... I don't think there's any going to be rules about it or anything. So I don't... But I'm thinking I should do that. Maybe not with the iPad, but maybe the iPhone at this thing.
That'd be fine.
Pop you on the old Discord and, although if you're just, I suppose you could just be in my ear.
No, I'd like to get out.
You want to see what's going on, right?
I haven't been out in a long time.
Yeah.
Might be nice to feel the fresh air
I'll bring
on my screen.
If I bring a battery pack, maybe I can plug in and I'll just have you hang out because here's what I'm going to do. This is my plan. My plan is to go, weirdly, my contract says that I can't be picked up before 10 a.m., which I thought was really funny. But I guess someone thought that I liked sleeping, so they didn't want. So anyway, so I emailed the woman in charge, which you're not supposed to do because you're supposed to go through the agent all the time, but it's always just whatever. But I emailed this wonderful woman who invited me, and I said, look, could you pick me up at like 8:30? Because I kind of want to be there when it opens, because there's there's all sorts of geeky stuff like comic books and all that kind of stuff, right? So I'm going to go early.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I'm going to want to wear a mask anyways, right? So because there's a lot of people there, or there may be a lot of people there. So I'll wear a mask and I'll wander around and I'll do and I can check out all the cool stuff. And I'll bring I'll bring the iPhone, because it's not like it's long distance from me. It should work. And then I'll do my talk. And then I'm hoping. I mean, James was very kind and has offered for me to go and look at the Hacksmith Industries lab place that they've got. So I'm hoping to then go after the talk. I would then go check out, the Hacksmith place, and then I'd go home from there. But unfortunately, I was thinking about staying for the whole weekend, but I can't because Baz has got this he's doing a life-saving course. So, I need to make sure that I'm there to practice on. Actually, that's not true. He's doing his life-saving stuff. This community center, I'm telling you, is the best thing. It's just so good. This guy there has walked him through creating a resume. He's applied for a job. He's got a social insurance number. He's got like all this stuff that this guy is doing for not just Baz, but for all of those kids. I can't wait. I'm gonna get in there with the laser spiders next week. So
that's so nice, though.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did. I mean, it's so easy to get on your computer, especially for somebody like me. I have to think not everybody's me, because to me it's a freeing experience.
Right.
But for a lot of people, it's actually isolating and a negative thing if they overdo it.
I think
for me, it's just a new way to get to people.
He's got this console.
A better way.
He's got this console now, which I've got to say I'm a little disappointed about, because he's got this PlayStation, which is all very cool and well, but unless he's got, I mean, to be fair, it was really kind of fun. He had his friend over the other day, and they were sitting there. They were working their way through, was it Dead by Dawn or Death to Dawn or whatever that was, something. One of these, like, it's like a horror game, which is really fun. Listening to them.
Dead by Daylight too.
That's it. Dead by Daylight. Is it Dead by Daylight? Is that right? It's like a movie an interactive movie almost. Anyways,
okay.
Really fun, like lots of little jump scares and all that kind of stuff. That is, that's a nice social fun engagement. But the rest of the time, unlike the PC where he's playing games with numerous people, that freaking console, man, he's playing games by himself. Admittedly, in the living room.
Discord is going to be integrated with PlayStation. Now,
Discord.
When a new download comes up, Discord will be a part of PlayStation. Yeah.
So, wow, that's a big.
You can just use
Discord.
it. I think so.
Yeah.
And
I like Discord. We use it all. We've used it basically since day one with TechBandits. Dead by Daylight. Thank you. 35 Infinite.
Yeah. Did you see? It's also a 4K Blu-ray player. So.
Hey, Greg T is going. Yeah. Thanks, Greg T. I'll see you in Kingston. Is it Kingston or where am I going?
Kitchen. Yay!
It's a K one. I never know. Luckily, they're sending a car because I never know. Canadian sins aren't assigned automatically. No, they're not, Wavius. You have to apply for one, but they're happy to give it to you so that they can start charging you tax.
Wait a minute, sins.
Social insurance.
What are we talking about?
Social insurance number.
Oh.
Yeah, we instead of a social security number, we have a social insurance number, which I'm sure will be changed as well. They don't charge for them. No. They're. I don't think there's any fees to apply for them because you know. I think they know enough to go. You know what? I don't think I want to spend money so that I can have you ask me for money. I just use my computer.
And that's the interesting thing. They don't charge you for that, but they charge you to get registered to vote, or at least in America. So
no,
that's interesting.
Do they really?
Well, in a lot of places, yeah. It's not a poll tax, but it's kind of, if you have to get a certain kind of ID and things that you really don't need to survive.
We just had our mayor quit here. Toronto mayor just quit because
a mayor just quit?
He just quit because he had an affair with someone during the pandemic. And then he said, okay, so I feel like I've got to go and spend some time with my family. Personally, I would think the last thing I'd want to do if I just had an affair is spend time with the wife that I've just screwed over. But
she's going to crush him. But yeah, I know she doesn't want to see him more. That's for sure.
But he's quit, now we have to have another freaking election.
Gosh.
So yeah, that's going to be.
Did you win that?
I was like, does anybody care? Like, so what?
I wonder if you could win.
Yeah, me? No.
Yeah.
No.
Dude, you're famous, and then that's the list.
Could you imagine the clips that they would bring up of all the movies? Look at this. You want this guy running the country? Like, I mean, like, it's just like.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I will blow up heads of our enemies.
Exactly. But my joke was just that, like, I feel like, I, not a joke. My thought was just that, like, so what you had an affair with someone who's half your age? Who cares?
Do your
Does
job.
does anybody really care? I mean, I guess maybe that's not the point. He's probably not. He probably is quitting so that he can actually try to go and mend his marriage. I guess. I don't know. That's one of those things. I don't know how you fix that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I don't know. How you
it's
fix
time. You have to let a lot of time go by.
I guess so.
If you can fix it.
Ah.
But I'm guessing if he did it, he's that kind of guy. If he's that kind of guy, he's gonna
He
do it
seems
again.
he seems kind of square. Like he seems kind of like, well, he just seems kind of, you know what he seems like old and white. That's what he feels like. You know, like one of those guys who's like, you know, oh, sorry, yeah, me too. You know what I mean? Like it's just like I don't know. I just thought it was fascinating that in this day and age, that was the reason that you felt you had to stop being the mayor of Toronto.
Right.
You know, I had an affair with someone half my
see-
age. They worked for me. They no longer work for me. And now I'm going to quit. I'm like, wow. Okay. I mean, I don't love that he did it, but I mean, as always, it's just yet another man who can't.
But it doesn't hurt them. I think Trump showed people, as long as you don't apologize and really go at it, you don't apologize for things. You just do whatever the hell you want, and then I don't know, just move on, act like it didn't happen.
Well, I mean, the Trump approach is just double down, right? It's just like, it's like it's like you get called on something, you go, yeah, it's almost.
Well, it's on you.
I think that's why the Democrats and the Republicans are so different in this stuff. In that the Democrats preach all this stuff and then get caught behind closed doors, breaking all of the rules that they say they're so important to them. Whereas the Republicans just seem to go like, I don't care, or I do care about these rules, but yes, I have. I don't know. Who knows?
Okay. You're gonna love this. This is a tech story. Okay. A really anti-gay politician up here tweeted. He's like, look at this advertisement that was in my American Military Monthly, and it was for a gay cruise. He's like, what the hell is this? He's like, dude, you don't understand. It's looking at what you look at and determining what ad to give to you. That wasn't just hanging out in the
it was like an online magazine. It was like an online
yes
thing?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Oh, that's good. That's very good. That's like, this is
great.
Disgusting. Why would this get sent to me? Oh, that's good. Busted. Well put, Mr. McKean.
Well,
Tracy.
he thought they said something about the military.
Yeah.
Because they're so woke now.
Oh my god, that's too funny. Hey, that's weird. Windows just opened up on its own with an ad and a trending news from the web. I don't like Windows. My god, I don't know. All right, you know what? I gotta get out of here.
Why would you do it? You gotta go.
I gotta go give my son the talk. So, son, when a man loves a woman, I don't know what to more likely. I'm gonna say like, do you want $20 for dinner? Yikes. Google
$20 for dinner. Where do you live? You gonna send him to Mickey D's?
Is that
and make him pay half?
He goes to Chinatown and gets lunch for like $6. It's bizarre. I'm like, dude, how do you?
Nice.
Yeah, he's like his girlfriend has all these the cool little restaurants in the hood and it's great. She bought him clothes.
I'd at least slip him the 50. Well, because
I always give him extra. Yeah, I always give him
who the dad is or something,
But they don't need money anyways. They just got their phones, right? They just use their, I got to figure out what I'm having. Yeah. What am I going to do for dinner? I'm going to be by myself at home worrying about my kid.
Awful. Right. Something comforting, something nice. Do you have tidy whities you can sit around there?
Yeah, sit around my tidy whities and just cry into a hamburger. Yeah, there you go. That's it.
But you don't have to cry.
No, I'm going to, though.
Unless you really feel it.
I think I will. I'm dancing by myself.
You just cry.
I'm dancing by myself.
Dancing. I was young once.
And she's buying
I was beautiful.
Remember that? That was the last. That was the last song at every dance. Was the Stairway to Heaven. I don't think they do that anymore. I've offended Cal. Cal, I haven't heard from Cal in a while. All of a sudden, I just see, oh Lord, and she's buying a stairway. That was such an awkward song, though, too, right? Because it was start off slow, and you're like, woohoo, and all of a sudden it would be like, and you'd be like, where do I put my hands?
Supposed to be doing?
Where do my hands go? Yeah. My voice can go really high. Sorry, Captain Catherine. It's true. It can. It's a good job you can act.
It's amazing.
Thank you, Alicia. It's very true. All right, I'm gonna go sing. Go cry and sing.
Wait a heaven.
I'm gonna go sing. Or maybe even some. Maybe you know who understands me? Taylor Swift. She'll get it. She's always singing sad
maybe
songs.
you can sing "Cats in the Cradle" to him.
Oh,
that would be really appropriate. Right?
When you're coming home, son, I don't know when. But we'll get together then, son. You know we'll have a good time.
Oh, have a good time.
And the cats in the cradle and the silver. And you have that way of, oh, God, I used to hate that.
Yeah,
song.
Mom jamming.
Yeah. I can order takeout and blast Taylor Swift. That's my night. That's my night, baby. Where's the clip button? Please don't. Because, as soon as I run for mayor, that's the clip they're going to show.
Yeah.
All right, everybody.
Oh, no, so
thank you for yet another fantastic week.
that
Please,
was funny.
if you get a second, do sign up for the email of awesomeness because there is a good chance I might be quiet on social media as of next week. We'll see. And also, I'm just having so much fun doing it. So please do pop on there and get that if you can. Everyone, huge thanks to Cal for being here and being so disapproving as always. Gimpy G for dropping by even though he didn't want to.
Oh.
And Vibe Pup, my superhero, who's just like, dude, the courage of a lion, my friend. Well done on this
Cal
week.
Ripken.
Well done.
No, the Lou Gehrig of our particular podcast.
Do you know how old you I don't know who Lou Gehrig is. I know they named a disease after him. That's all I know.
I don't know him either.
I think it's bad luck.
Yeah.
You do?
Who are your heroes now, Vibe Pup? Like, when you think of that my hero is who? Mark Rober?
God. Who's your hero?
Mark Rober?
Captain Price.
Who?
I was joking around. I said Captain Price.
I don't even know who Captain Price is. See?
Have you never played a Call of Duty?
I guess not. I don't play a lot of the shooty games because I throw up on myself. Remember, I get the motion sickness thing, right? Captain Price. I'm going to look him up. Captain Price. Okay. All right.
I was joking. He's not my role model. I just kind of find the stuff that he does cool and stuff.
All right.
In the game.
I could see that.
I'm putting him in anyways, just so I know who the hell you're talking about. Hey, he's got a gray beard like me. Yep. Captain Price, I've got it now. I found it on the Wikipedia for Call of Duty. He's got a super mustache. Is he the guy with the big mustache thing?
Yeah.
There you go. I'm growing my mustache right now, so I could be your hero. All right.
I loved your mustache. But go ahead,
Jane was not a big.
We gotta go.
Jane was not a fan of the mustache. She also wants me to cut my hair.
I wish she wasn't so awesome.
I'm kind of like,
what?
I'm enjoying the long hair. I gotta say, it's getting kind of shaggy, and I kind of like it. It's all over the place. I kind of like it. And as it gets grayer, I find it's much more full bodied.
And I don't know about you, but long hair is my only camouflage ability. So
that's
it. You have to whip it up and stir it and throw it over the side.
That's what I got to do. I got to do a little bit of. Yeah, I don't even bother hiding it anymore. I got to do this movie
I can't.
I got to do this movie in Winnipeg, and they're like, how do you see this character? And I was like, I think I'm playing the Woz. I think I'm playing Wozniak. I mean, it's not actually playing Wozniak, but the kind of character I think he
that'd
is.
Be great though.
Because then I could have a beard, and the only reason is because I can have a beard and I don't have to be thin. That's right. That is how an actor prepares. I was like, well, because then I could just eat whatever I want and I don't have to do my hair. So, yeah. All right, get out of here.
Bonuses all year round.
I gotta go.
You guys have a wonderful day. Thank you. Tell everybody to come visit us.
Thank you all.
It's funny.
Yes, and maybe I'll try to. I guess I can't stream live from my phone. I wouldn't work, would it? Because then you wouldn't be able to see.
I think you could. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to talk to you, but unless you had a different phone or something like that.
Multiple phones. I'd be like a drug dealer at the thing with the multiple phones.
Yeah, like
Yeah, that may be too complicated. Maybe we'll just try to get you involved. All right. At the very least, you should come up.
Okay.
At the very least, what I'll do is I'll bring you up on stage.
oh man, I'm
Right.
gonna go right up the stairs.
Yeah,
Oh, this is so awesome.
and I'll point at the 3 people in the audience who've come to see me speak.
Okay.
You know, well, I'll know them by name probably. You know,
Make sure you hit your chest too.
Mom.
You know, like with your fist, you go pump, pump,
Yeah,
and then point at them.
yeah. Oh yeah, do the. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There's like 3 people. I'm kind of terrified there will be
What's
no
that?
one. Though I'm terrified there'll be no one there. There's always a little bit of that little insecurity of like, oh God, they're paying me to speak, and what if nobody shows up? Well then more fool them, I suppose, for thinking that I could bring people in. But anyways, I am looking forward to hopefully seeing some people. I'm also all I'm doing is talking. Like I'm not doing any signings or anything. I'm just going as a nerd to enjoy the convention. And then I'm going to do a little talk. And if you see me, come say hi. No problems. So that's TriCon.
Do you have to look up like any stuff on Stargate before you go?
I do.
That way in
I
case-
often do.
Yeah.
I often do. Like if I'll go like, I'll think of like a couple of things that I want to talk about, and I'll go, God, I can't remember the name of those episodes. But here's the problem: even if I look them up, I never remember them. I get them wrong every time.
Okay.
Yeah. I basically now I bring it to I let people out there know more about it than I do at this point. You know.
No, I know. I've watched. Yeah.
I've seen how bad you are. It's true.
No. For me, it's just because it represents something to them. For you, it's a time in your life and a job.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
for
yes.
them, it's like their hopes or dreams or
I would say
something like that.
It was a bit more than that because I feel like it truly was one of the most enjoyable jobs I've ever had. Like that was a character that was so much freaking fun to play. Like there was not a scene went by.
Yeah.
Not a scene went by that I didn't think like I got the best freaking character in this whole show. Like I would not have swapped positions with anybody. Jason had a lot of fun. I still think I had way more fun. I just, you know what I mean?
Listen,
it was just,
you were Space Urkel. Don't
I
forget
was
that.
Space
You were.
Urkel. There you go. Because that's what I've always wanted was the Space Urkel. The Space Urkel Award. All right, everyone. Be safe. Be kind. Be brilliant. And until we geek again, I will say cheerio and huzzah! I'll talk to y'all soon. Cheers. Have a great weekend. Bye.